Chapter 796. Ning Cheng felt pleasantly surprised. His original idea was to use the time wheel to stop this golden light dragon and wait until he killed Ting Xiao. He didn't expect that his time wheel would have such a powerful effect, which could directly shrink the golden light dragon. Ning Cheng immediately changed his strategy. Instead of dealing with Ting Xiao, he kept blasting out one time wheel after another. Although the golden light dragon was powerful, it didn't have any Dao charm flowing around it. For Ning Cheng, using the spirit technique to deal with the golden light dragon consumed much less energy compared to dealing with Xiao Jirui. At this moment, the endless gray light wheels were like layers upon layers of waves crashing towards the giant golden dragon. The golden light around the golden light dragon grew dimmer, and its thousands of feet-long body shrank rapidly. Ting Xiao froze. Since his debut, he had never seen anyone who could contain his golden light origin dragon soul. Ordinary attacks didn't pose much of a threat to his golden light origin dragon soul at all. What kind of light will did Ning Cheng blast out? Not only did it contain the laws of time, but it also contained such power? At this time, Ning Cheng abandoned the golden light dragon and shot out a spear pattern towards Ting Xiao with the spear in his hand. Without the threat of the golden light dragon, Ting Xiao's strength decreased by more than half. What's more, his mind wasn't on Ning Cheng, but on the golden light dragon. Sunset's twilight was a spirit technique that deprived one's mind of the laws of time. If Ting Xiao focused on fighting Ning Cheng, he might have been able to avoid Ning Cheng's Sunset's twilight and fight for a chance to escape. But he thought too highly of himself and didn't care about Ning Cheng's Sunset's twilight. At this moment, all Ting Xiao could see was a setting sun. As Ning Cheng expected, without the golden light dragon interfering with Ning Cheng, Ting Xiao couldn't break free from his Sunset's twilight at all. The iron rod that shot towards Ning Cheng came to a stop, and in front of Ting Xiao's eyes, there was only the setting sun. The setting sun was infinitely beautiful, but it was near dusk. Spirit technique Sunset's twilight. A crazy voice struggled in Ting Xiao's heart. He wanted to make the still world in front of him come alive again. Maybe in just one breath, Ting Xiao felt sure that the still world in front of him would come alive again. It was just that this moment was too far away, so far that he would never be able to wait for it. Ning Cheng's long spear finally exploded into Ting Xiao's dantian. The long spear tore apart Ting Xiao's dantian and meridians, tearing apart his soul. Ting Xiao's primordial spirit seeped out and wanted to escape with a panicked expression. However, Ning Cheng's powerful domain had already bound the surrounding space. Therefore, under Ning Cheng's domain, Ting Xiao's life essence couldn't even move. Ting Xiao's heart was filled with regret when a ball of flame descended. He didn't regret going against Ning Cheng, but regretted not having a powerful escape spirit technique. If it was possible, even if he had to go bankrupt, he would exchange it for an escape divine art. As the flames swept through, Ting Xiao's corporeal body and life essence completely turned into nothingness, while the two rings fell into Ning Cheng's hands. Ning Cheng breathed a sigh of relief, before shifting his gaze towards the still shrinking golden light dragon. At this time, this light dragon could not be said to be huge. Its entire body was less than 5 feet in diameter. Ning Cheng raised his hand and shot out another time wheel. The already dim light dragon gave out a shrill cry before disappearing without a trace. A faint ray of light descended, and Ning Cheng raised his hand and grabbed this faint ray of light from the void. It was a dragon-shaped light shadow. Yes, it was indeed a light shadow. Although it was invisible, it had a light essence to it. Moreover, this light shadow contained a trace of a powerful dragon aura. However, this aura was bound by the light shadow. This was an origin dragon soul, and it was also the most powerful origin dragon soul, the light origin dragon soul. Ning Cheng sucked in a breath of cold air. From a certain point of view, the value of an origin dragon soul wasn't much lower than an origin bead. Origin dragon souls were formed like amber. They were extremely rare. Normally, origin dragon souls were formed in the ancient era. In ancient times, origin aura was dense, and powerhouses were as common as clouds. Countless battles between powerhouses resulted in the fall of countless powerhouses. Even if the corporeal body of an ancient dragon collapsed during the battle, it would still have its primordial spirit and soul. In a place with rich origin aura, this primordial spirit and soul could easily be wrapped in the origin aura and sealed. After being sealed by the origin aura, the primordial spirit and soul would lose its consciousness unless someone rescued it. Once someone obtained it, they could refine the dragon's soul sealed by the origin aura and turn it into a powerful helper. Whichever origin it was bound by, the dragon soul would belong to that origin dragon soul. Since Teng Xiao's dragon soul was bound by the light origin, it naturally belonged to the light origin dragon soul. The strength or weakness of an origin dragon soul depended entirely on the origin that bound the dragon soul and the strength of the dragon soul itself. In addition to the origin dragon soul, there were also some other origin essence spirits. However, only powerful spirit beasts with noble bloodlines could form an origin essence spirit, such as dragons, qilins, phoenixes, kunpungs, black tortoises, and so on. Ning Cheng put away the light origin dragon soul in a jade box and sighed in his heart. This thing was just too valuable. Teng Xiao hadn't completely refined this light origin dragon soul yet. Otherwise, even with his starry sky body, the origin dragon soul would have smashed him to pieces. This light origin dragon soul might be his biggest harvest. Looking at the ravines on the battlefield in front of him, Ning Cheng finally felt a bit better. At this time, not a single cultivator remained in the surroundings. All the cultivators had already left, and the slower ones would have already died to the killing power. Ning Cheng called out Ji Lu. But before he could ask why Luofei was here, Ji Lufei felt shocked by the ravines around her. Where were the many cultivators looking for Yan Ji? What about 9 Jewels Starry Sky Emperor Shangwan Fei? Seemingly seeing Ji Luofei's doubts, Ning Cheng caressed Ji Luofei's hair and said, "I killed Shangwan Fei and that Teng Xiao. The rest escaped." Ji Lufei didn't know who Teng Xiao was. She only knew that Shangwan Fei was very strong. Hearing that Ning Cheng killed Shangwan Fei, even if she was slow, she understood that Ning Cheng's strength wasn't inferior to that of an eternal cultivator. In fact, he might have even advanced to the eternal realm. At this moment, joy filled her heart. Throwing everything aside, she turned around and once again hugged Ning Cheng. Her red lips had already found Ning Cheng's lips. Even if she was reserved, after so many years of separation from Ning Cheng, she couldn't contain the excitement and madness in her heart when they met again. Endless longing, anxiety, anticipation, all of it turned into a silent kiss at this moment. Not to mention that there was no one else here other than the two of them. Even if there was someone else here, she would not be able to resist the desire in her heart. Ning Cheng wrapped his arms around Ji Luofei's slender waist and felt Ji Luofei's soft body. All the worries in his heart melted away because of Ji Luofei. Ji Luofei completely lost herself in it. It wasn't until Ning Cheng's hand fell on her chest that she suddenly sobered up and said anxiously, "Dear Yan Ji, they came here to catch Yan Ji. Yan Ji must be under this entrapment formation." Ning Cheng also recovered. To be precise, he didn't come here to look for Luofei but for Yan Ji. "Don't worry, let's go down and have a look." Ning Cheng's attainments in the Tao of Arrays had already reached Starry Sky Grade 9. Moreover, this entrapment formation had already been badly damaged. Although there was still a layer of killing formations here, it didn't pose much of a threat to Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng took Ji Luofei's hand and walked to the half-broken entrapment formation before suddenly asking, "Luofei, is Qianghua also here?" Hearing Ning Cheng ask about Shi Qianghua, Ji Luofei's hand trembled. Ning Cheng felt that Ji Luofei's hand seemed to have turned a little cold, causing his heart to sink. He had a bad feeling about this. Ning Cheng stopped and looked at Ji Luofei. He truly feared that Ji Luofei would say that something had happened to Qianghua. He had learned from Mi Jin that when Luofei and Qianghua left, Qianghua's injuries had not fully recovered. "What's wrong with Qianghua?" Ning Cheng's voice trembled a little, but he still believed that Qianghua was fine. Ji Luofei's voice turned low. "Someone took Sister Qianghua away." The person who took Sister Qianghua away was a woman, a very powerful one. She said that she was Sister Qianghua's younger sister and that her mother wanted to settle accounts with you. If not for Sister Qianghua, that woman would have already killed me. Ning Cheng clenched his fists. When did Qianghua have a younger sister? He had never heard of such a thing. No matter who it was, if they wanted to kill Luofei, he would never let them go. Feeling Ning Cheng's excitement, Ji Luofei took the initiative to hold Ning Cheng's hand and spoke with a soft voice. Sister Qianghua will definitely be fine. When our cultivation reaches a higher level, we can go find Sister Qianghua. Ning Cheng's emotions calmed down, and he stroked Ji Luofei's long hair before speaking with a sigh. Luofei, I've made you suffer over the years. Ji Luofei shook her head. I didn't suffer. I just hid in a secluded place for cultivation. But you, who reached the eternal realm in just a few years, must have suffered the most. Ji Luofei herself was a starry sky cultivator, so she naturally understood how difficult it was to reach the eternal realm. She had cultivated for so long, and even with so many opportunities, she only managed to advance to the Heaven's Mandate realm. She was still 108,000 miles away from the eternal realm. Since Ning Cheng could cultivate to the eternal realm, she didn't need to ask him about it. He must have suffered a lot more than her. Ning Cheng finally understood why Ji Luofei hadn't gone to the mysterious yellow celestial river. It turned out that she was in secluded cultivation and didn't know about him establishing a sect. Luofei, I haven't reached the eternal realm yet. After going back this time, I'll go into seclusion to advance to the eternal realm. You can come back with me. I've established a sect called the Mysterious Yellow Sect. Ning Cheng spoke with a soft voice. Ji Luofei nodded softly. She didn't find it surprising that Ning Cheng could kill Shangguan Fei without advancing to the eternal realm. Ever since she and Ning Cheng got together, Ning Cheng had always been the most powerful person in her eyes. Not to mention that Ning Cheng also had the mysterious yellow bead. Ning Cheng had established the mysterious yellow sect to let her and big sister Qianghua know about it. Let's go. Let's go in and see if Yanji is here. Ning Cheng took Ji Luofei's hand and walked directly into the somewhat broken defensive array formation. Even if this array formation didn't break, it couldn't stop him. Not to mention the fact that the formation had been blown into such a dilapidated state. Chapter 797. The lower chamber looked complicated, and for ordinary cultivators, it might take a long time to figure it out. But for Ning Cheng, it wasn't a problem at all. His spiritual consciousness swept out without reservation, and after half an incense stick worth of time, he directly led Ji Luofei to the stone room behind the big screen. Is it empty? Ji Luofei looked at the empty stone room in doubt. No. Ning Cheng took out array flags and threw them down one after another. After an incense stick worth of time, a teleportation array appeared in the middle of the stone room. The four corners of the teleportation array had 4 grooves, but this teleportation array didn't have anyone on it and was also empty. Ning Cheng pointed to the teleportation array and said, "This teleportation array opened not long ago, and there are still spatial fluctuations around it. Luofei, come up with me, let's teleport over and have a look." After Ji Luofei entered the teleportation array, Ning Cheng took out permanent essence pills and filled the 4 grooves. But what puzzled Ning Cheng was that the teleportation array didn't move even after filling the grooves with permanent essence pills. Ning Cheng took out the permanent essence pills and put in a pile of starry sky crystals, but the teleportation array still didn't respond. Ning Cheng frowned, put away the starry sky crystals and said, "Luofei, if Yanji is indeed here, she should have already been teleported away." Ji Luofei understood before she could finish. "Dear, did you say that Yanji dismantled the teleportation array over there?" Ning Cheng nodded. "Yes, if it were me, I would have also dismantled it." "Then can we fix this teleportation array?" Ji Luofei asked with some worry. Ning Cheng shook his head. This teleportation array is an ancient teleportation array. The cultivator who arranged this teleportation array has a much higher attainment in array formations compared to me. Moreover, he has a way to travel between the 2 places without using the teleportation array. I can't use this teleportation array for the time being unless I advance to the Array Dao Master level. Only Array Emperors who surpassed Starry Sky Grade 9 could be called Dao Masters. After advancing to the Array Dao Master level, Ning Cheng could modify the foundation of this teleportation array and then teleport to the original location of the teleportation array without a fixed location. Seeing Ji Luofei's worry, Ning Cheng comforted her. "Yanji has a strong survivability. She has been wandering alone in the starry sky for so long. She should be fine after being teleported away. Later, I will completely seal this place and forbid anyone from coming here. He was comforting Ji Lufei, but in fact, he was also comforting himself. 5 days later, Ning Cheng left the Thorn-Tooth Lake with Ji Lufei. He had completely sealed the entrance to the basement, and had even set up many concealment and defense formations. He could come out from the inside, but he could no longer find his way in from the outside. Unless there was someone whose array formation skills surpassed his, he would come here and slowly search. Sect Master Ning. Ning Cheng had just walked out of the Thorn-Tooth Lake with Ji Luofei when a respectful voice called out from outside the Thorn-Tooth Lake. "You're looking for me?" Ning Cheng looked at the pale-faced man in front of him and asked. He was sure that he had never seen this person before. This was a late-stage life and death realm cultivator. Aside from his slightly pale face, he was full of energy. Junior Luo Xijia has been living in 9 Jewels Starry Sky. This junior heard that Shangguan Fei, that old thief, was killed by Senior's hands. As such, this junior came to thank Senior. Luo Xijia bowed towards Ning Cheng and spoke. Ning Cheng didn't ask much. Since Luo Xijia said so, then it meant that he had a deep grudge against Shangguan Fei. Luo Xijia took the initiative to speak up. Shangguan Fei's sect is extremely vicious and sinister. This junior hid in 9 Jewels Starry Sky to kill this beast. Now that Senior has killed Shangguan Fei, 9 Jewels Starry Sky no longer has a Starry Sky Emperor. This junior is willing to take control of 9 Jewels Starry Sky for Senior. Ning Cheng showed a faint smile. He guessed that this was Luo Xijia's main purpose. Luo Xijia, 9 Jewels Starry Sky belongs to Culmination Grand Starry Sky, and it has a close relationship with Chuan Xinluo. Are you sure you want to take control of 9 Jewels Starry Sky? Ning Cheng looked at Luo Xijia and spoke with a calm voice. 9 Jewels Starry Sky was connected to Striking Order Starry Sky, but Ning Cheng had no intention of taking control of 9 Jewels Starry Sky. He didn't like controlling territories and becoming a Starry Sky ruler. Stately River Star was enough for him. What he liked most was freedom. Luo Xijia spoke up with sincerity. After this junior decided to kill Shangguan Fei for revenge, I didn't take my life seriously. Now that Senior killed Shangguan Fei to avenge me, this junior is willing to do something for Senior. Ning Cheng felt Luo Xijia's sincerity. It didn't matter if he wanted 9 Jewels Starry Sky or not. But since someone took the initiative to help him, he didn't need to push it away. Therefore, he casually agreed. Chuan Xinluo knew that he controlled 9 Jewels Starry Sky. Even if someone wanted to cause trouble, he would find Ning Cheng first. Since Luo Xijia didn't fear it, what did he fear? Well, in that case, you can take control of 9 Jewels Starry Sky. If Chuan Xinluo comes, you can just push the blame to me. I can't help you much, so you can do whatever you want. I'll give you a suggestion. It's best to follow the rules of my mysterious yellow celestial river. If there's anything urgent that you can't handle, you can send me a message. After Ning Cheng finished, he took out a communication pearl and handed it to Luo Xijia. Luo Xijia took the communication pearl and spoke up with excitement. Sect Master, rest assured. I will not let Sect Master down. With 9 Jewels Starry Sky, he, Luo Xijia, would one day achieve something no weaker than anyone else. To gain, one had to pay. Luo Xijia knew this very well. Relying on Ning Cheng was much better than relying on Chuan Xinluo. Chuan Xinluo didn't have a chance to speak at all. As a latecomer, he could only rely on Ning Cheng. Besides, Ning Cheng had avenged him, Luo Xijia. Absence makes the heart grow fonder, not to mention that Ning Cheng and Ji Luofei had been separated for a long time. On the way to Stately River Star, Ning Cheng and Ji Luofei didn't separate at all. The two lingered all the way to Stately River Star. Ning Cheng cultivated the mysterious yellow formless, which contained all kinds of origin auras. During the time Ji Luofei and Ning Cheng stayed together, not only did her cultivation improve rapidly, but even her qualifications improved once again. After Ning Cheng returned to Stately River Star with Ji Luofei, Ning Ruolin still remained in seclusion. Ning Cheng introduced Ji Luofei to everyone and set up a separate cultivation cave for Ji Luofei in the mysterious yellow sect. Although Ning Cheng didn't come out to speak or show his face, But everyone in Stately River Star knew that Sect Master Ning had returned. There was no other reason. Every time Sect Master Ning returned, the concentration of Starry Sky Essence Chi in Stately River Star would increase again. This time was no exception. Since Ning Cheng obtained so many Starry Sky Spirit Veins, he naturally wouldn't be reluctant to part with them. His sister Ning Ruolin, his wife Ji Lufei, and many of his friends and subordinates all cultivated here. Why would he care about a few Starry Sky Essence Chi Spirit Veins? This time, he implanted more than a dozen Starry Sky Spirit Veins under Stately River Star. With so many star veins implanted, the Starry Sky Spirit Chi in the entire covered snow city reached a hair-raising level. Even Stately River Star's Starry Sky Spirit Chi had increased by several times. Under such a terrifying concentration of Starry Sky Spirit Chi, even cultivators with poor qualifications could feel their progress every day. Starry Sky Spirit grasses also grew rapidly throughout the planet. As long as the cultivators stayed in Stately River Star, none of them didn't rejoice that they could live in Stately River Star. At this time, even if Stately River Star didn't have strict laws, no one would dare to mess around. In case they ended up being kicked out of Stately River Star, they would regret it for the rest of their lives. Ning Cheng left a bunch of cultivation resources to Ji Luofei and gave her the Glaze Scroll. Ning Cheng hadn't refined the Glaze Scroll since he obtained it. Even when he returned to Graceful Star Mainland, he didn't give it to Rainbow Falls Sword Sect. Originally, he wanted to give this scroll to his sister Ruolin. But because Ruolin's cultivation was slightly lower and she had yet to come out of seclusion, he gave it to Lufei. In the future, when his sister came out, he would find another top-grade weapon to give to her. Ning Cheng hadn't refined the Glaze Scroll, but he had studied it. It definitely wasn't an ordinary treasure from the true cultivation world. Rather, it was a treasure no less valuable than the 5 Elements Treasure Fall Copper Coin. Since he gave the 5 Elements Treasure Fall Copper Coin to Qianghua, he decided to leave this painting scroll to Lufei. After Lufei went into seclusion to cultivate, Ning Cheng left Stately River Star to find a place to cross the tribulation and advance to the Eternal Realm. With the power of his tribulation, he naturally couldn't cross the tribulation in a place like Stately River Star. 9 Jewels Starry Sky Emperor Shangguan Fei died at the hands of mysterious Yellow Sect Master Ning. Luo Xijia took over 9 Jewels Starry Sky and became the new Starry Sky Emperor. He was also the only person to become a Starry Sky Emperor before reaching the Eternal Realm. This matter didn't seem to have caused any waves. Even Chuan Xinluo didn't say a word, seemingly acquiescing to the existence of this matter. Since even Chuan Xinluo didn't care about this matter, none of the celestial rivers in 9 Jewels Starry Sky dared to resist. Even Shangguan Fei died under Ning Cheng's hands. If they dared to speak any nonsense, wouldn't they just be courting death? What's more, the Starry Sky Emperor didn't have much impact on a celestial river. At best, after 9 Jewels Starry Sky's Luo Xijia took over, he issued a series of laws. These laws were just words on a piece of paper. As for whether to enforce them or not, it was naturally up to the celestial river kings of each celestial river. At this time, on an uninhabited, broken planet in the striking order Starry Sky, Ning Cheng was crazily absorbing the Starry Sky Spirit Chi for cultivation. Beneath him were intertwined Starry Sky Essence Chi Spirit Veins and piles of permanent essence pills. Endless Starry Sky Essence Chi wrapped around him and formed a huge Starry Sky Spirit Chi vortex over his head. If he hadn't sealed off this broken planet with an array formation, this concentration of Starry Sky Essence Chi would have long since spread out, allowing others to sense it. As time passed by while Ning Cheng cultivated, the intertwining Starry Sky Essence Chi around Ning Cheng not only didn't decrease, but instead grew denser and denser. Although his cultivation had already reached the full circle of life and death realm, the Starry Sky Essence Chi that Ning Cheng absorbed still felt like a bottomless pit. Another half a month passed by, and this absorption seemed to have no end. Ning Cheng took in a deep breath and tried to break through the cultivation barrier to the eternal life realm. However, Ning Cheng soon felt disappointed. Even if he gathered all his cultivation, he couldn't find the cultivation barrier to the eternal realm. He couldn't even touch the boundary of cultivation, let alone break through. It was as ridiculous as trying to learn a law of time-related spirit technique without touching the edge of the laws of time. Chapter 798. Ning Cheng felt a little regretful in his heart. Back then, when he had almost reached the full circle of the life and death realm in the Temple of Time, he decided to come out and look for an opportunity to advance to the eternal realm. Now it seemed that perhaps he had come out too early. After taking out a high-quality Eternal Emperor Continuance pill and swallowing it, Ning Cheng once again took out a pile of Permanent Essence pills. In comparison, Permanent Essence pills had a much purer concentration of Starry Sky Essence Chi. As soon as he swallowed the Eternal Emperor Continuance pill, the terrifying celestial essence in his body stimulated and raged. The Starry Sky Essence Spirit Chi vortex that had formed above Ning Cheng turned even more violent at this moment. As the vortex grew bigger and bigger, more and more Starry Sky Spirit Chi started to suck in. The Permanent Essence pills around Ning Cheng dissipated at a speed visible to the naked eye, turning into Starry Sky Spirit Chi before being sucked into the vortex. The powerful eruption of the Eternal Emperor Continuance pill not only made Ning Cheng's perception of the Tao charm clearer, but the eruption of the pill spirit aura also made Ning Cheng feel the existence of the eternal realm. Ning Cheng did not hesitate to stimulate his celestial essence and rush over. Although Ning Cheng desperately wanted to break through to the eternal realm, unfortunately, even if he stimulated almost all of his celestial essence, the cultivation barrier to the eternal realm wouldn't budge. He couldn't even touch it. Ning Cheng sighed in his heart. He had so many cultivation resources, the mysterious yellow formless cultivation method, and even the Eternal Emperor Continuance pill. Attacking the eternal realm was already so difficult. If he didn't have these things, then how would he attack the eternal realm? He had to break through to the eternal realm no matter what. Chuan Xinluo didn't come out to find him, not because Chuan Xinluo feared him, but because Chuan Xinluo wanted to stabilize his cultivation. He might even be trying to understand a new spirit technique. Once Chuan Xinluo's cultivation stabilized, or even comprehended a new spirit technique, Chuan Xinluo would immediately seek out Ning Cheng. If he didn't advance to the eternal realm, he would have no way to resist Chuan Xinluo in the future. Once, twice, dozens of times in a row. No matter how much Starry Sky Essence Spirit Chi Ning Cheng absorbed, it couldn't shake the cultivation barrier to the eternal realm. A few days later, Ning Cheng took out another high-grade Eternal Emperor Continuance pill and swallowed it. After swallowing the Eternal Emperor Continuance pill, the celestial essence within his body once again erupted. However, just like before, although he was getting more and more clear about the eternal realm, he still couldn't touch the threshold of the eternal realm. Ning Cheng took in a deep breath. This time, he directly took out 3 top-quality Eternal Emperor Continuance pills and swallowed them. If these 3 Eternal Emperor Continuance pills couldn't loosen his grip on the eternal realm, he decided to postpone his breakthrough to the eternal realm. This was no longer a matter of the accumulation of cultivation, but rather his lack of perception, which meant that he was not qualified to attack the eternal realm. The moment Ning Cheng swallowed the 3 Eternal Emperor Continuance pills, an extremely violent Starry Sky spiritual power erupted within Ning Cheng's meridians and dantian. It instantly spread to his sea of consciousness. Wave after wave of pill spirit Tao charms swept through Ning Cheng's sea of consciousness and thoughts like endless waves. Even the everlasting Blue Thunder City automatically appeared at this time to block the terrifying explosive power, lest the sea of consciousness be destroyed by this horrifying spiritual power. A tearing pain erupted, causing Ning Cheng to spit out a mouthful of blood. Ning Cheng even suspected that the pain and the eruption of the Starry Sky Spirit Chi would tear apart his entire body in just a few moments, not to mention his meridians. That kind of pill spirit Tao rune impact was very likely to turn him into an idiot. The Starry Sky Essence Spirit Chi outside started to churn, and at this moment, the word rapid couldn't even describe it. It almost formed a tornado. Ning Cheng's body started to form layers of blood beads. Ning Cheng had an intuition that if he wasn't a body-forging expert with a Starry Sky body, his body would have exploded under this horrifying Starry Sky Spirit Chi. Ning Cheng never expected that the effects of 3 top-grade Eternal Emperor Continuance pills would be so terrifying. While operating the body-forging cultivation method to consume the terrifying tearing power, he gathered all his celestial essence power and once again rushed towards the eternal realm's cultivation barrier. Whether it was life or death, success or failure, it all depended on this one move. Ning Cheng could feel the eternal realm's calm cultivation at this moment, and the Tao charm became clearer and clearer in his consciousness. Angry axe trace, spear trace, traceless spear trace. Maximal flame, sunset's twilight, time wheel, none to depend on. When he touched the eternal realm's cultivation barrier, when his celestial essence power completely blasted against the eternal realm's cultivation barrier, everything became clear. Whether it was magic skills, spirit techniques, Tao charm, boom. With a violent tremor, the eternal realm's cultivation suddenly felt like a gash had been cut open and rushed down. The celestial essence power that threatened to tear apart his meridians and the violent essence chi that filled his entire body seemed to have found a vent and rushed out. At this moment, his Tao laws became clearer, and his Tao became clearer. It felt as if everything had gradually converged into one. The mysterious yellow formless was still operating, and the body-forging cultivation method was still in the process of quenching. With a burst of roars, Ning Cheng knew that his thunder tribulation had arrived. Even Ning Cheng himself didn't expect that after consuming the 3 eternal emperor continuance pills, he would break through the eternal realm's cultivation barrier in one go. Although the pill chi almost blew up his body, the return still made him feel happy. As the endless lightning descended, Ning Cheng roared once again and rushed into the sky. He felt a powerful force, and he also felt his pride. This kind of strength was something he had never experienced before. He never thought that his Tao charm spirit techniques would become so clear after reaching the eternal realm. At this moment, even if he hadn't experienced the thunder tribulation, he felt confident that he could kill Qiao Jierwei without using none to depend on. Boom boom boom. Endless thick lightning arcs descended, but Ning Cheng wasn't in the mood to feel how many lightning arcs fell. He had experienced many thunder tribulations and seen many terrifying thunder tribulations. Therefore, facing this thunder tribulation, he felt no fear at this moment. Boom boom boom. These thick lightning arcs fell on Ning Cheng's forehead and tore apart Ning Cheng's robes, causing blood to spill out. Ning Cheng remained expressionless. He didn't even bring out the everlasting blue thunder city. Kakagala. The sound of bones breaking rang out continuously. Originally, because of the berserk effects of the eternal emperor continuance pills, Ning Cheng had started to operate the body-forging cultivation method crazily. But now, under the endless lightning arcs, Ning Cheng's body-forging finally reached the limit. At this moment, Ning Cheng's entire body trembled. His bones quickly reassembled, and his cracked skin quickly healed. When the second wave of lightning arcs fell, Ning Cheng's bones and corporeal body had already finished reassembling. His body forging finally reached the next level, advancing to the late-stage starry sky body. Feeling that the damage to him from the lightning arcs had already been minimized, Ning Cheng rushed up in high spirits as he blasted out a punch after another. He used his bare fists to fight against the continuous lightning arcs. While enjoying the thunder tribulation to his heart's content, he also absorbed the aura of the thunder source. He hadn't felt this way in a long time. He liked this feeling and it made him linger. The thunder tribulation arcs grew more powerful with each wave, and in the end, it still felt like a thunder waterfall. Ning Cheng didn't feel it at all and still wandered around the dense and terrifying lightning arcs. Fortunately, there was no one like Tsang Tsaiha watching from the side. Otherwise, Tsang Tsaiha wouldn't have believed that someone could face such a terrifying thunder tribulation. Moreover, someone could still enjoy such a terrifying thunder tribulation. Within the thunder tribulation, Ning Cheng felt that his body-forging cultivation was still growing, and his strength was also growing stronger. At this moment, Ning Cheng even looked forward to the endless thunder tribulation. Just like that, the lightning arcs continued to fall, making his strength grow stronger. Boom boom, explosions rang out, and the broken planet Ning Cheng stood on grew even more dilapidated. The terrifying thunder tribulation caused cracks to appear on the broken planet from time to time. Boom boom. With a dull explosion, the planet under Ning Cheng's feet finally cracked open. Under the next wave of thunder tribulation, it turned into countless meteorites that flowed through the starry sky. As the broken planet under Ning Cheng's feet exploded, Ning Cheng's thunder tribulation finally dissipated. There were no starry sky spirit clouds, nor did any starry sky spirit rainfall. Ning Cheng had long since become accustomed to this. His thunder tribulation rarely gave him such benefits. Instead, he only got bombarded by powerful lightning arcs. He wasn't afraid of this kind of bombardment. The more powerful the lightning arcs, the stronger he would become. In the end, one day, it wouldn't be the thunder tribulation that bombarded him, but him talking to the thunder tribulation. After restraining his wildness, Ning Cheng cleaned himself up, changed into a set of clean clothes, and stood in the starry sky. From the misunderstanding with Tian Yuan to the mysterious yellow bead taking him to the graceful star mainland, how many years had passed? During this period, he had experienced countless life and death situations, countless joys and sorrows. Today, he finally advanced to the eternal realm. In this part of the starry sky, he finally had the right to speak. With his strength in the eternal realm, even if Chuan Xinlo stabilized his cultivation, so what? Ning Cheng raised his hand, and the time wheel, which originally needed to form a few hand seals, seemed to form naturally in his palm. It then turned into a gray shadow and shot out. One day, when I raise my hand, time will flow backwards, and this part of the starry sky will stand still. Ning Cheng took in a deep breath, looked at the vast starry sky, and spoke with a firm tone. If he could make this part of the starry sky stand still, he would no longer have to work so hard to cultivate. He could travel the entire universe with his family. He believed that he could do it. Chapter 799. Jiangzhou Star's Ancient Shadow Temple, Chuan Xinlo going into seclusion after reaching Dao-confirming realm, the threatening voice from the mysterious Yellow Temple, and the group of people from the mysterious Yellow Starland, all of this made Ning Cheng feel nervous. He even had a hunch that the entire starry sky was about to change drastically. The tranquility of the starry sky seemed to be a kind of strangeness before such a great change. No matter what was going to happen, he had to quickly increase his strength while it was still quiet. Ning Cheng immediately took out the transfer jade talisman to enter the time wilderness. He still had about 30 star veins on him. However, he felt that after reaching the eternal realm, it would be more cost-effective for him to cultivate in the Temple of Time. The starry sky spirit qi in the Temple of Time was not only purer but also more suitable for cultivation. His cultivation resources could be used at any time, so there was no need to use them now. This was Ning Cheng's fourth time entering the time wilderness. As such, he had long since familiarized himself with entering the time wilderness. In just a short time, Ning Cheng arrived at the triangular gate of the Temple of Time. As soon as Ning Cheng arrived, he understood that Duan Gantai hadn't arrived yet. Presumably, this family was in the same situation as him, trying to break through to the eternal realm. A time wheel shot out, and the Temple of Time's triangular gate opened once again. After Ning Cheng flashed inside, he immediately started arranging defensive arrays. Ning Cheng felt sure that even if Duan Gantai had 3 perpetual moontime keys, he couldn't open the Temple of Time. However, Ning Cheng didn't dare to take the risk. What if Duan Gantai opened it? He had to prepare his defense first. After making all the preparations, Ning Cheng did not immediately start cultivating, rather he took out the stone steel that he had obtained from the Formless Academy. Previously, he had been very busy and did not have the time to refine this stone tablet. Now he was finally free. Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness locked onto this stone tablet and started refining it. In just a few breaths, Ning Cheng realized that this stone tablet was simply an ordinary object. However, this kind of thing couldn't be used to refine tools. Its only use might be that its isolation effect was extremely strong, preventing his divine sense from penetrating it. Ning Cheng punched the stone tablet, causing it to break apart. Picking up the fragment of the stone tablet and looking at it, Ning Cheng was even more convinced that this stone tablet was just a material used to isolate one's spiritual consciousness. However, one of the fragments that had the word "formless" written on it was considered complete. These 2 words looked very different, and they had a trace of ancient Dao rune aura. After looking at it for a long time, Ning Cheng thought that these 2 words were written by a person with a very high cultivation level. As such, there was nothing special about it. He raised his hand and flipped through the fragments of the stone tablet. An ordinary-looking book appeared in front of him. This book should be inside the stone tablet. When he smashed the stone tablet, this book also fell down. Ning Cheng did not expect that this stone tablet would unexpectedly contain a book. He picked up the book and flipped through it, only to find that this book, including the book cover, had a total of 7 sheets of paper. Moreover, these 7 sheets of paper did not have a single word on them. Ning Cheng did not know what these papers were made of, but even his spiritual consciousness could not penetrate them. Not only was his divine sense unable to penetrate it, but his hands were also unable to tear it apart. The first impression that this book gave Ning Cheng was that it was not ordinary at all. Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness fell onto this book, wanting to refine this book. A day later, Ning Cheng finally withdrew his spiritual consciousness. He could refine this book, but it would take a long time, and what he lacked the most right now was time. He couldn't waste time refining a book. Ning Cheng was convinced that the most valuable thing in the formless sex stone steel was the wordless book that was concealed by the stone steel. Putting away the wordless 7-page book, Ning Cheng let go of all his thoughts. After entering the mysterious yellow bead, he concentrated on secluded cultivation. One had to say that the Temple of Time was an excellent place for cultivation. The mysterious yellow bead sat on the jade stone in the middle of the Temple of Time, and the endless starry sky spirit chi vortex poured into the mysterious yellow bead. As time passed by silently, Ning Cheng inside the mysterious yellow bead continued to crazily absorb the starry sky essence spirit chi, improving his cultivation. 1 year, 2 years. In a blink of an eye, 5 years passed by, and Ning Cheng, who was immersed in cultivation, suddenly opened his eyes. He felt that he could no longer absorb the rich starry sky essence spirit chi. Did he absorb all the starry sky spirit chi in this place? Ning Cheng felt puzzled as he swept out with his spiritual consciousness and came out of the mysterious yellow bead. His guess was right. He had indeed absorbed all the starry sky spirit chi in this place. Not only did he absorb all of it, but even the jade stone had also turned extremely dim. Ning Cheng had just landed on the jade stone when the jade stone began to crack. Ning Cheng felt a bit regretful. If he had cultivated for a while longer, he could have advanced to the middle stage eternal realm. Unfortunately, he had consumed all the starry sky spirit chi at this critical time. During the 5 years inside, not only did it stabilize his cultivation, but it also allowed his cultivation to improve by a large margin, which made Ning Cheng feel very satisfied. Ning Cheng didn't know what happened to Duangan Tai, but he still hadn't come to the Temple of Time. Ning Cheng naturally didn't care about Duangan Tai and eagerly left the Time Wilderness. It had been almost 2 months since Ning Cheng returned to stately River Star, but he didn't go to covered Snow City. Instead, he reinforced the star-protecting Grand Array outside stately River Star. The star-protecting Grand Array he had arranged previously was a Starry Sky Grade 8 array, but it was still a little short of a Starry Sky Grade 9 array. But now that his attainments in the Tao of arrays had improved, he naturally wanted to rearrange the star-protecting Grand Array. Ning Cheng implanted one semi-top grade Tao artifact after another into the star-protecting Grand Array, but he didn't feel any pain. Ning Cheng even implanted more than a dozen star veins. This time, with Song Tsaya's help, Ning Cheng could arrange the array much faster. If he hadn't added a top-grade spiritual gathering array to the star-protecting Grand Array, he would have already completed the star-protecting Grand Array. Even so, the array formation was almost complete in 2 months. Sectmaster, I really admire you. Not only do you have incredible cultivation and alchemy skills, but even your Tao-confirming realm is so powerful. If I hadn't helped you, I wouldn't have believed that a single person arranged this star-protecting Grand Array. After the star-protecting Grand Array was completed, Song Tsaiha was the first to sigh. Ning Cheng smiled and was just about to speak when he sensed that one of his spiritual sense jade cards had been crushed. He had only given his spiritual sense jade cards to Song Tsaiha, Ning Ruolin, Ji Lefei, and Shui Wucheng. Shui Wucheng was the one who crushed the spiritual sense jade card. Ning Cheng had left the spiritual sense jade card for Shui Wuchang because of the wood origin bead. Now that Shui Wuchang crushed the spiritual sense jade card, did it mean that there was news about the wood origin bead? Ning Cheng originally wanted to invite Ning Ruoqing to the ancient shadow temple after arranging the star-protecting grand array. But now that Shui Wuchang crushed the spiritual sense jade card, he naturally had to go to the devil domain. For him, the news about the wood origin bead was the most important thing. Brother Tsong, I have to leave stately River Star again. I'll have to trouble Brother Tsong here. Ning Cheng felt a little embarrassed. After establishing the mysterious yellow sect, he didn't usually stay in stately River Star. Most of the matters in stately River Star were handled by Gong Xiuzhu and others, while Tsong Tsaihe took care of the safety of the star. Tsong Tsaihe laughed. Sect Master, to be honest, I'm very satisfied with stately River Star. Staying here is much more comfortable than wandering the starry skies. After so many years of wandering, I've long since grown tired of it. Ning Cheng knew that Tsong Tsaihe only spoke out of politeness. Even if Tsong Tsaihe wanted to stay here, he wouldn't wander the starry skies. Tsong Tsaihe was a starry sky grade 9 pill emperor. No matter where he went, people would always respect him. Even Chuan Xinlo had to be polite to Tsong Tsaihe. How could he wander the starry skies? Since they were already people from the same sect, Ning Cheng no longer spoke out of politeness. He took out 3 jade bottles and handed them to Tsong Tsaihe. Brother Tsong, these are 3 medicinal pills. If you see a suitable successor, you can give one to him. Tsong Tsaihe was the premier pill emperor, so he naturally didn't care about medicinal pills. However, Ning Cheng was the sect master. Therefore, he still politely accepted the medicinal pills Ning Cheng handed to him. When his spiritual consciousness fell into the jade bottles, he almost screamed out in surprise. Sect Master, this? Tsong Tsaihe held the jade bottles and spoke up in disbelief. He truly couldn't believe it. Because these were 3 Eternal Emperor Continuance pills, 2 high-grade Eternal Emperor Continuance pills and 1 special-grade Eternal Emperor Continuance pill. It wasn't like Tsong Tsaihe had never seen Eternal Emperor Continuance pills before. In fact, he had refined such medicinal pills himself. But the reason why he felt shocked was that he had never refined a high-grade Eternal Emperor Continuance pill. Ning Cheng gave him not only 2 high-grade Eternal Emperor Continuance pills but also 1 special-grade one. Just these 3 medicinal pills alone were priceless. A starry sky contained more than a dozen celestial rivers, a celestial river contained many planets, and a planet contained countless cultivators. From this, one could imagine how many cultivators a starry sky contained, which amounted to hundreds of millions. Among so many cultivators, how many eternal level powerhouses would come out? Striking Order Starry Sky only had 2 eternal level powerhouses, Striking Order Heavenly Emperor and Tang Yitong. From this, one could imagine how difficult it was to advance to the Eternal Realm and how precious medicinal pills were to advance to the Eternal Realm. Even if Tsong Tsaihe was a starry sky grade 9 pill emperor, he couldn't help but feel shocked when he held 3 high-quality Eternal Emperor Continuance pills in his hand. Brother Tsong, I refined these. Unfortunately, I only obtained 1 starry sky radish grass. Otherwise, I could have refined a few more furnaces. Brother Tsong, you can distribute these 3 Emperor Continuance pills as you see fit. As long as they are loyal to the mysterious yellow sect and have a good character, it's fine. Ning Cheng said with a smile. Sect Master, rest assured, I will pay attention. Tsong Tsaihe put away the jade bottles and spoke to Ning Cheng cautiously. What he cared more about was Ning Cheng's alchemy level. How could someone who could refine high-grade Eternal Emperor Continuance pills be simple? He also knew that now wasn't the time to talk about the Tao of Alchemy with Ning Cheng. When Ning Cheng returned, he would definitely discuss the Tao of Alchemy with Ning Cheng. When Ning Cheng was about to reach Silent Bubble Starland, he realized that Shui Wuchang wasn't waiting for him in Silent Bubble Starland, but outside Silent Bubble Starland. Ning Cheng had already refined the Starry Sky Wheel, and Ning Cheng quickly found Shui Wuchang, who had been waiting outside the Starry Sky for a few days. When Shui Wuchang saw Ning Cheng standing on the deck of the Starry Sky Wheel, she breathed a sigh of relief. Fairy Wuchang, You crushed the jade card to look for me. Did you find any news about the wood origin bead? Ning Cheng put away the starry sky wheel and couldn't wait to ask. His mysterious yellow bead only lacked the wood origin bead. But as his cultivation grew higher, he started to feel more and more danger, which made him want to find the wood origin bead even more. Shui Wuchang nodded. Yes, there is another thing besides the news about the wood origin bead. Ning Cheng felt ecstatic when he heard the news about the wood origin bead. As for the other thing Shui Wuchang mentioned, he didn't even pay attention to it. Instead, he asked eagerly, Fairy Wuchang, will the wood origin bead also appear in the Ash Pagoda auction? Shui Wuchang sighed and said, it was supposed to be like this, but before the auction, the wood origin bead was suddenly snatched away. Ash Pagoda Auctions Association Master Yi Tsang and Deputy Association Master Tsing Tajiang were both killed. I only managed to escape because of my low cultivation and the fact that I wasn't in the Ash Pagoda Chamber of Commerce. Plus, several heavenly emperors came to returning capital Starry Sky City at the same time. What? Even Ning Cheng felt shocked by Shui Wuchang's words. Someone dared to snatch the auction? Even Chuan Xinlo, who had reached Dao Confirming Realm, wouldn't dare to do such a thing, right? Chapter 800. No wonder Shui Wuchang stayed outside to wait for him. Ash Pagoda Chamber of Commerce's 2 leaders had been killed. Maybe she had no place to go. Who are the great emperors you mentioned? Ning Cheng suddenly thought of Chuan Xinlo. According to reason, after a few years of seclusion, Chuan Xinlo's cultivation should have stabilized by now. It's Chuan Xinlo, Qiao Jierwei, Yi Jiufeng and Zhang Kong Tianji. Shui Wuchang replied. Sure enough, it was Chuan Xinlo. Ning Cheng nodded. Let's go. Let's go to Silent Bubble Starland to take a look. Although Chuan Xinlo came out of seclusion, he didn't immediately go to Stately River Star to settle accounts with him, which made Ning Cheng feel a little puzzled. Chuan Xinlo didn't go to Stately River Star but to the Devil Domain. This could only mean one thing. There was something more important here. Perhaps, Chuan Xinlo also cared about the wood origin bead. In fact, no one disliked the wood origin bead. If the other origin beads had limitations, then the wood origin bead was a top-grade treasure for anyone. Whether it was used to cultivate starry sky spirit grasses or for cultivation and healing, it was a first-class treasure. Did they also gather in Silent Bubble Starland for the wood origin bead? Ning Cheng asked while inviting Shui Wuchang to board the starry sky wheel. Shui Wuchang shook her head. I guess they don't know about the wood origin bead. You don't know? Ning Cheng asked in confusion. He didn't know about the wood origin bead, but why did several heavenly emperors gather in Silent Bubble Starland? Shui Wuchang spoke up after boarding the starry sky wheel. That's just my guess. As for whether they know about it or not, I don't know. But senior apprentice brother Ning, I can roughly guess who took away the wood origin bead. Ning Cheng looked at Shui Wuchang in amazement. The only reason he hadn't asked about it yet was because he felt sure that Shui Wuchang didn't know who took away the wood origin bead. Just think about it, how could an expert who could kill the Ash Pagoda Chamber of Commerce let others know of his origins? He didn't expect Shui Wuchang to say that she could guess it. Who is it? Ning Cheng almost subconsciously asked. Shui Wuchang unconsciously clenched her fists. It should be the group of people who occupied the mysterious yellow starland. I'm sure they snatched it. Without waiting for Ning Cheng to ask again, Shui Wuchang took the initiative to explain. The person who brought the wood origin bead to the Devil Domain's returning capital city is someone who escaped from the mysterious Yellow Starland. I know him. He's from mysterious Yellow Starland's Moi City's Tai clan. Speaking of which, the Tai clan and my Shui clan still have enmity, but now that Moi City has been swept away, this enmity is nothing. The Tai clan disciple brought the wood origin bead and said that he escaped from the mysterious Yellow Starland. He has nowhere to go after coming to the demon domain, so he could only find me and ask me to help him exchange the wood origin bead for a batch of cultivation resources. At this point, Shui Wuchang glanced at Ning Cheng. After I knew that it was the wood origin bead, I immediately wanted to crush the jade card and ask you to come over and discuss the purchase with him. He did not expect the wood origin chi to leak out from the jade box and attract the leader of the Ash Pagoda Chamber of Commerce, Yi Tsang. Song didn't even say hello to me and came to my residence on his own while grabbing the wood origin bead. At this time, I can only say that someone brought this wood origin bead to the Ash Pagoda Chamber of Commerce for auction. However, Song didn't put down the wood origin bead and said that he would handle it. Then, he put away the wood origin bead and left my residence with the Tai clan disciple to the auction house. When Ning Cheng heard this, he vaguely guessed that after Song returned to the auction house, the cultivator chasing after the wood origin bead also arrived at the Silent Bubble Starland. As a result, he rushed into the auction house, killed Song and the deputy leader, and snatched the wood origin bead. Sure enough, Shui Wuchang continued, I didn't know if Association Master Song would take out the wood origin bead for auction or not, so I decided to leave the Silent Bubble Starland to tell you about it. However, before I could leave the Silent Bubble Starland, I heard bursts of celestial essence explosions. By the time I learned about it, both Association Master Song and the deputy leader had been killed, and the wood origin bead had also disappeared. If I didn't guess wrong, the wood origin bead shouldn't have been taken by those heavenly emperors. So, those heavenly emperors didn't fight with the person who came to snatch the wood origin bead? Ning Cheng asked again. Shui Wuchang nodded. Leveled Heart Heavenly Emperor should have been in returning capital Starry Sky City. By the time they arrived, that person had already snatched it. Maybe that person felt afraid of those heavenly emperors and didn't stay in returning capital Starry Sky for long. Ning Cheng finally understood the cause and effect of the matter. Chuan Xinluo had already arrived at the Devil Domain, but he didn't know if he wanted to discuss with Qiao Jierui to deal with him. But even if those two wanted to discuss with him, Zhang Kong Tianji and Yi Jiufeng shouldn't have come here to deal with him. Senior Apprentice Brother Ning, there's one more thing I want to tell you. I took a look at the wood origin bead, and it looked like a broken bead. Shui Wuchang spoke up again. You said that the wood origin bead is broken? Ning Cheng's heart sank. Could a broken bead help his mysterious yellow bead complete? How could this be? Shui Wuchang nodded with affirmation. Yes, I'm sure that the bead is broken. Ning Cheng remained silent for a while and decided to put this matter aside for now. He would wait until he got his hands on the wood origin bead. Thinking of this, he said to Shui Wuchang, Fairy Wuchang, if you don't want to stay in the Devil Domain, you can come to my stately river star. Regardless of whether the bead was broken or not, Ning Cheng felt grateful to Shui Wuchang for giving him the news and taking the initiative to invite Shui Wuchang to his stately river star. Shui Wuchang quickly spoke up, Many thanks, Senior Apprentice Brother Ning. I want to save my father and then go to stately river star together. My father is still in the mysterious yellow starland. If Senior Apprentice Brother Ning wants to go to the mysterious yellow starland, can you take me with you? Sect Master Ning, we were just about to go to your stately river star. I didn't expect you to take the initiative to come to Silent Bubble Starland. Ning Cheng hadn't answered Shui Wuchang's words when Zhang Kong Tianji's voice came from afar. Ning Cheng had already seen Chuan Xinluo, Qiao Jierui, Zhang Kong Tianji, and Yi Jiufeng standing not far from the gate of returning capital Starry Sky City. Most likely, Qiao Jierui had received the news the moment he arrived at Silent Bubble Starland. Ning Cheng felt even more puzzled. He knew that Yi Jiufeng and Chuan Xinluo didn't get along with each other on the surface. Brother Qiao, I feel relieved to see you in good health. After Ning Cheng mocked Qiao Jierui, he immediately greeted Yi Jiufeng and Zhang Kong Tianji with enthusiasm. As for Chuan Xinluo, it was just a casual greeting. Qiao Jierui's face remained calm, without the slightest joy, anger, sorrow, or joy. He also didn't care about Ning Cheng's sarcasm. Sect Master Ning, Brother Tianji is telling the truth. If Sect Master Ning didn't come, we would have gone to stately River Star. Chuan Xinluo seemed to have forgotten the unhappiness between him and Ning Cheng, and even spoke in a polite tone. Yi Jiufeng, on seeing Ning Cheng frown, quickly spoke up, let's go inside and discuss it. After half an incense stick worth of time, the four heavenly emperors, plus Ning Cheng and Shui Wuchang, sat in the largest reception room of returning capital Starry Sky City. This was the territory of returning capital city's city master mansion. Although Qiao Jierui wasn't the city master of returning capital Starry Sky City, He naturally wouldn't have any problems if he wanted to expropriate this place. Did Sect Master Ning also hear about the mysterious yellow starland? Did you come to returning capital Starry Sky City specifically? After the few people sat down, Chuan Xinluo was the first to ask. Ning Cheng replied with a calm voice, I was just passing by and happened to meet Fairy Wuchang. Fairy Wuchang invited me to returning capital Starry Sky. Chuan Xinluo didn't care about Ning Cheng's indifference and still spoke with a cautious tone. Sect Master Ning, I specifically invited Junior Apprentice Sister Nine Phoenix and Heavenly Emperor Tianji to Silent Bubble Starland. It's a matter of life and death for our 4 grand starry skies. Seeing Ning Cheng frown again, Chuan Xinluo explained, Sect Master Ning might think that I'm exaggerating. I believe that since Sect Master Ning and Fairy Wuchang are together, you should know what happened to the mysterious yellow starland. Although the mysterious yellow starland doesn't belong to our 4 grand starry skies, it is still in the same world as us. A few years ago, a group of unidentified people occupied the mysterious yellow starland. It stands to reason that it's normal for a starland to fight over it, but this group of people is different. Not only did they establish a huge starry sky city in the mysterious yellow starland, but they also killed the cultivators of the mysterious yellow starland at will. The cultivators of the mysterious yellow starland have only one role for them, that is to build a starry sky city for them. Once they do that, their role disappears. They were only in the mysterious yellow starland before, but who can be sure that they won't come to our 4 grand starry skies in the future? They have already come to the Devil Domain, and they killed the 2 leaders of Ash Pagoda Chamber of Commerce. They should have stolen something. I guess the reason why they haven't launched a large-scale attack on our Devil Domain yet is because they feel that the time is not right yet. Xiao Jierui continued Chuan Xinluo's words. Putting aside the personal grudges with Chuan Xinluo and Xiao Jierui, Ning Cheng felt that the two's worries weren't groundless. Seeing Ning Cheng remain silent, Chuan Xinluo spoke up again. Sect Master Ning and your sister are both powerhouses. We are planning to go to Stately River Star to invite the 2 of you, and then we can go to the mysterious yellow starland together. Ning Cheng pondered for a moment before speaking up. I agree to go to the mysterious yellow starland. You can wait for me here. I'll go back and prepare. Regardless of whether Chuan Xinluo and the others went to the mysterious yellow starland or not, Ning Cheng had to go there. He had made a promise to that giant. Now that he had advanced to the Eternal Realm and obtained the Giant's Eye, he had to return this favor no matter what. This was a life-saving favor, so he couldn't delay it. For every day he delayed, the giant would have to suffer for another day. As for letting Ning Ruoqing go to the mysterious yellow starland, Chuan Xinluo could only dream about it. If Ning Ruoqing wanted to stay in Stately River Star, he would never take Ning Ruoqing to the mysterious yellow starland. The reason why he said that he wanted to go back and prepare was not to bring Ning Ruoqing but to inform Luofei and his sister Rulin. At the same time, he also promised to bring Xin Mengyan to the mysterious yellow starland. Chuan Xinluo immediately agreed. Okay, we'll meet here in 2 months and go to the mysterious yellow starland together. The Devil Domain was the closest place to the mysterious yellow starland, so choosing to meet in Silent Bubble Starland was based on the principle of proximity. In fact, among the few of them, only Ning Cheng wanted to go back and deal with things. The others had cultivated for so many years and had long since become accustomed to being outside all year round. Therefore, they didn't need any special instructions. Ning Cheng had just stood up when he felt the space around him fluctuating. With the exception of Shui Wuchang, none of the people here were not seasoned powerhouses who had experienced countless life and death battles. Since Ning Cheng felt the space fluctuating, the others naturally felt it as well. Ning Cheng immediately grabbed Shui Wuchang beside him, brought out the everlasting Blue Thunder Fort, and flew out. Chapter 801. Boom! A shocking explosion sounded out, and the city master's mansion, where the few of them had been talking, turned into a gray mist. Countless screams also dissipated within the gray mist. After a few breaths, when everyone appeared above the city master's mansion, the previously luxurious and beautiful city master's mansion had turned into ashes. Within a radius of a few dozen miles around the returning capital city master's mansion, there was no other life except for Ning Cheng, Shui Wuchang, and the 4 heavenly emperors. Only a huge cobweb-like ravine could be seen. Qiao Jierui trembled with anger. Returning capital was the heart of the devil domain, yet someone had turned it into such a state. Moreover, the place where he had been sitting not long ago was the place where he had been sitting not long ago. A tall man with red hair and a flat nose stood in the void, facing Ning Cheng's group. Did you kill the Ash Pagoda Chamber of Commerce's president and vice president a few days ago? Today, you came to my devil domain to cause trouble. Who the hell are you? Qiao Jierui stared at the red-haired man and spoke in a hateful tone. Ning Cheng looked at the red-haired male cultivator without a celestial will behind him and felt his heart sink slightly. He felt sure that this person's cultivation wasn't below Chuan Xinluo's. Since this person dared to come here a second time, he definitely didn't come here to die. Whether he came here to die or not, Ning Cheng felt a little expectant when he thought about the wood origin bead on this person. No matter what happened, he couldn't let this person go. He had to get the wood origin bead. Fairy Wuchang, I'll send you far away first. Pay attention to yourself. I suspect that the thing is in this person's hands. I'll kill this fellow later. After Ning Cheng sent a sound transmission to Shui Wuchang, he activated the celestial essence in his palm and sent Shui Wuchang away. Ning Cheng had just sent Shui Wuchang away when he felt something wrong. The red-haired male cultivator raised his hand, and a black light shot towards Shui Wuchang. This fellow came here for Shui Wuchang, Ning Cheng understood in an instant. Almost without thinking about it, Ning Cheng shot out a time wheel. The time wheel was one of Ning Cheng's trump cards, but if he didn't use the time wheel, he wouldn't be able to save Shui Wuchang. No matter how fast he was, he couldn't catch up to the red-haired male cultivator's black light. The time wheel rolled up a Dao charm of time and turned into a gray time wheel shadow. The black light was instantly affected by the time wheel shadow and slowed down slightly. Bang! The time wheel's gray light wheel and the black light collided, causing countless light shadows, some black and some gray. Shui Wuchang broke out in cold sweat, and she quickly sped up to escape. If not for Ning Cheng's help a moment ago, she certainly would not have been able to avoid that black light. The red-haired man with a flat nose looked at Ning Cheng in surprise. He could tell at a glance that Ning Cheng's time will contain the laws of time-related spirit technique. Moreover, it was a violent law of time-related spirit technique. Anything that stood in the way of time would be swept away. Ning Cheng's light wheel was one such example. This place actually had a cultivator who could control the laws of time. At this time, the red-haired man with a flat nose no longer had the opportunity to attack Shui Wuchang. Therefore, he took a step into the void and punched out. Another space-related Dao charm blasted out. This time, his target was Ning Cheng. With this punch, Ning Cheng felt a powerful spatial suppression. Under this spatial suppression, he even found it difficult to breathe. To be able to suppress him with just one move, Ning Cheng felt sure that it was a top-grade space-related spirit technique. This space-related spirit technique was a grade higher than the 5-colored space that Qiao Jierui used to cast on him with the 5-colored myriad connecting banner. Ning Cheng crazily stimulated his spiritual consciousness and forcibly blasted out countless spiritual consciousness blade lights. At the same time, Chuan Xinluo's group of 4 also attacked. Qiao Jierui's 5-colored myriad connecting banner immediately locked the surrounding space, while Chuan Xinluo brought out the burning sky eroding sun pagoda. As soon as the pagoda came out, endless white flames burst out and rushed towards the man with a flat nose. Ning Cheng, who was inside the space controlled by the red-haired man with a flat nose, could feel that Chuan Xinluo and Qiao Jierui didn't hold anything back. Both of them went all out, which greatly reduced the pressure on him. Boom boom boom. Qiao Jierui's 5-colored space and the red-haired man with a flat nose's space-suppressing spirit technique slammed into each other. The 2 laws of space's Dao charm exploded, making everyone who heard the explosion of the laws of space's Dao charm feel stuffy in their hearts. As the pressure on Ning Cheng lessened, his spiritual consciousness blade lights slammed into the space-related spirit technique suppressing him. Bursts of kaka sounds emerged, allowing Ning Cheng to understand that the red-haired man's space-related spirit technique couldn't trap him. The moment Ning Cheng broke free, Yi Jiufeng and Zhang Kong Tianji's attacks also arrived. Yi Jiufeng's weapon was the floating snow Luren mirror, while Zhang Kong Tianji's iron rod attacked. One to restrain the other to attack, just right. Even Ning Cheng thought that this red-haired man with a flat nose would fall here today. He even thought about it. Once this man with a flat nose died, he would immediately grab his storage ring. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to obtain the wood origin bead. Therefore, the moment Ning Cheng broke free from the spatial shackles, he immediately brought out his low-rank spirit artifact long spear, Celestial Rainbow Purgatory. No one expected that just as the red-haired man was about to die, this red-haired man's figure suddenly twisted. The next moment, this red-haired man disappeared from everyone's encirclement. At the same time, everyone's spiritual consciousness swept out and found that this red-haired man had already appeared outside returning capital city and rushed out of Silent Bubble Starland like a shadow. Even Chuan Xinluo looked at the scene outside returning capital city in shock. Using the laws of space to such a terrifying degree, this red-haired man with a flat nose was just too powerful. No one chased after him. Everyone thought that this person could come and go freely in the devil domain. If they went to the mysterious yellow starland, would they still have a chance to fight against this person? Where's Sect Master Ning? Zhang Kong Tianji looked at the place where Ning Cheng had just stood in doubt. Ning Cheng had also disappeared. Yi Jiufeng sighed and said, he chased after him. No matter for what reason Ning Cheng chased after him, Chuan Xinluo and the others didn't move. Since Ning Cheng was so arrogant, if he wanted to chase after him, then let him. The reason why Chuan Xinluo and Xiao Jirui didn't say anything to help Ning Cheng was that Ning Cheng's starry sky will made them feel even more afraid of Ning Cheng. Chuan Xinluo felt the most conflicted in his heart. He hoped that Ning Cheng would die, but at the same time, hoped that Ning Cheng didn't die and could go to the mysterious yellow starland with him. As soon as Ning Cheng brought out the time wheel, he understood that apart from him, Xiao Jirui and the other two couldn't compare to Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng indeed chased after him. The wood origin bead might be with this red-haired man, so how could he give up? Without the wood origin bead, his mysterious yellow bead wouldn't be able to exert the true power of a good fortune treasure. Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness had always locked onto that faint spatial fluctuation. Moreover, that fluctuation seemed to be cooperating with him, allowing him to lock onto it. Ning Cheng knew that the red-haired man was trying to lure him out, and Ning Cheng understood it clearly. He didn't give up on chasing after him just because the other party lured him out, and because his cultivation couldn't compare to the other party. Sometimes, opportunities would only appear for a split second. After that split second, the opportunity would disappear again. Since he wanted to look for opportunities, he couldn't miss this moment. Half a day later, the spatial fluctuation within Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness disappeared, and the tall red-haired man with a flat nose appeared in front of Ning Cheng. You've got guts. Presumably, that woman told you that the wood origin bead is with me, right? The red-haired man looked at Ning Cheng calmly and spoke with a hint of disdain. Everyone wanted treasures, but first, you had to have the strength to obtain them. If you didn't have the strength and just wanted to pursue treasures, it wouldn't be treasure hunting, but death. After saying this, the red-haired man didn't give Ning Cheng a chance to speak at all. He raised his hand and punched towards Ning Cheng. He didn't even bother to take out a weapon. In his eyes, except for the time wheel, Ning Cheng had nothing to offer. After the red-haired man punched out, the space froze in an instant. No, it didn't solidify, but disintegrated. The space around Ning Cheng didn't belong to his surroundings at all. Therefore, after the red-haired cultivator attacked, it completely isolated itself. Almost at the same time, Ning Cheng also attacked. Spirit technique, sunset's twilight. The setting sun was infinitely beautiful, but as dusk approached, the setting sun rose before the red-haired man's punch could disintegrate space. At this moment, everything came to a standstill, except for the poignant sunset. It wasn't just the setting sun, but also the arrival of dusk. If an average person saw this poignant sunset, they would probably see their own end. In fact, They even hoped that everything would come to a standstill and stop flowing. If it continued to flow, the sun would set, and life would follow suit. In fact, after Ning Qing touched the real edge of the laws of time, this kind of stillness was no longer the stillness of his heart. Instead, in a flash, time truly stopped flowing. It's just that this flash was too short. The red-haired cultivator felt this poignant sunset and gave a cold snort. Without even a moment of stillness, he casually punched out with his fist that could split space. The sunset in front of him looked like a mirror, like a bubble that quickly melted away. Insignificant skill, yet you dare to act arrogant in front of me. The red-haired cultivator sneered, while his celestial essence and spiritual consciousness surged even more. At this moment, the space around them suddenly turned bleak, and a deathly gray aura spread out. The red-haired cultivator looked at Ning Cheng's position in horror. He clearly felt a grayish deathly aura, but what appeared in front of him was a multicolored flash. At this moment, he wanted to escape frantically, but he couldn't move at all. He had a feeling that even if he fled to any corner, even if he fled to any place, this deathly aura would still envelop him tightly, leaving him with no room to resist. Ning Cheng's face turned pale, without any sadness or joy. He had never expected Sunset's twilight to kill the other party. If he had truly entrusted it to Sunset's twilight, then this red-haired man wouldn't have broken his dusk spirit technique so easily. Although he wasn't as good as the other party, his dusk spirit technique wouldn't have been broken so easily. Sunset's twilight was just a prelude to the five-colored star splitter arrow. It was to prevent the opponent's punch from affecting him, that's all. Bringing out the five-colored star splitter arrow, it was also the first time he used his killer move. Chapter 802. At this moment, Ning Cheng felt that his sea of consciousness and celestial essence had completely emptied out. Even if he crazily burned his essence blood, it wouldn't be enough to support the five-colored star splitter arrow. Endless celestial essence and spiritual consciousness poured into the five-colored star splitter arrow. The five-colored star splitter arrow felt like a bottomless hole that sucked away all the power in Ning Cheng's body. The surrounding space dimmed and turned into a gray deathly aura. All the killing intent in the surrounding space, all the deathly aura, all the terrifying killing intent, just like Ning Cheng's celestial essence and spiritual consciousness, were sucked away by the five-colored star splitter arrow. The surrounding space completely disappeared, leaving behind only a single arrow, an arrow that hadn't been shot yet. The red-haired man trembled all over. He could even hear the surrounding space shattering because of the arrow's killing intent. He could even see his whole body turning into dust after the arrow shot into his body. However, he didn't have the courage to bring out his weapon. He didn't even dare to move. He could only watch as the five colors in front of him started to bloom. Or rather, under the suppression of this black arrow, he couldn't move at all. As long as he moved, he could trigger the arrow and let the arrow's killing intent burst out. Ning Cheng's face turned pale, and he trembled as he stared at the colors in front of him. He finally understood why this black arrow was called the five-colored star splitter arrow. He saw a five-colored longbow stretching out of thin air. As more and more of his celestial essence and spiritual consciousness were sucked away, the five-colored longbow stretched even rounder. A pitch-black arrow was knocked onto the five-colored longbow, and it exuded a deathly gray aura. As the five-colored longbow stretched wider and wider, the black arrow knocked onto the five-colored longbow also grew fainter and fainter. It even showed signs of dissipating. However, the surrounding killing intent and deathly aura did not disappear as the black arrow faded. Instead, it grew stronger and stronger. At this moment, all the auras in the starry sky disappeared, and even the meteorites disappeared from this part of the space. Blood overflowed from the corners of Ning Cheng's mouth. The five-colored star splitter arrow still crazily absorbed the celestial essence in his body, causing his body to tremble even more. "Stop, I'll give it to you." The red-haired male cultivator with a flat nose couldn't help but scream in fear. Unable to stop, not to mention this red-haired man with a flat nose, at this time, even Ning Cheng himself was not able to control the power of this arrow. He simply had no way to stop. Perhaps even if there was a way to stop, Ning Qing would not stop at this time. Ning Qing also felt a similar fear in his heart. This kind of terrifying aura, no planet could stop it. Even if Jiangzhou star's array formation was powerful, it wouldn't be able to block this arrow. This arrow could completely turn Jiangzhou star into dust. Perhaps one day, when he unleashed this arrow, even he himself would not be able to control the destruction brought about by this arrow. He suddenly regretted shooting this arrow. This red-haired man with a flat nose might have been killed by him. But at the same time, everything on the red-haired man would disappear, including his ring. "Please stop, put away this arrow." The red-haired man with a flat nose's voice grew hoarser and more panicked. For the first time, he felt that his life was not in his control. Under this arrow, he could do nothing but beg for mercy. Ning Qing started to burn his lifespan, and his voice also turned hoarse. "I can stop, but you have to give me your ring." If he could do it, this red-haired man would have thrown the ring to Ning Qing a long time ago. But now, under the suppression of the five-colored star-splitter arrow's deathly murderous aura, he couldn't move even half a step. After Ning Qing convinced that the other party couldn't throw away the ring, he forcibly stimulated the last trace of his spiritual consciousness to fall on the five-colored star-splitter arrow. He had to burn his lifespan to do it. No matter how terrifying the killing intent this arrow emitted was, this arrow had been refined by him. Ning Qing didn't feel disappointed. Sure enough, he managed to communicate with the five-colored star-splitter arrow. Just when he used his spiritual consciousness to tell the five-colored star-splitter arrow to protect the red-haired man's ring, he felt the surrounding starry skies, winds and clouds rolling. Ning Qing's body loosened up, and he once again spat out a mouthful of blood. The celestial essence power crazily sweeping through his body disappeared without a trace, and everything in front of him turned violent. Just like the starry sky, a majestic and boundless killing intent swept out. The arrow shadow's killing intent left a faint trace in the starry sky, which was the result of a tiny crack in space. Ning Qing swore that he had never seen such a terrifying killing intent, nor had he ever seen such a terrifying killing move. The tiny crack in space was not an illusion. It was real. The killing intent from the five-colored star-splitter arrow had truly caused the tiny cracks in the surrounding space. The five colors disappeared without a trace, and the arrow also disappeared without a trace. There was only killing intent, a boundless killing intent. This killing intent easily tore through the space created by the red-haired man's punch. Everything in front of the red-haired man turned into nothingness in front of this killing intent. Bang! The red-haired man's body erupted with a loud bang. There was no blood mist, no soul essence. He just disappeared without a trace, leaving only a ring suspended in space. Even if Ning Qing felt weak, he did not dare to delay for even half a second. He rushed forward and grabbed the ring in his hand. Although he had communicated with the five-colored star-splitter arrow to keep the ring, his strength was too low, and his control over the five-colored star-splitter arrow was too weak. When he grabbed the ring, the restrictions covering the ring started to crack, and the ring was on the verge of collapsing. Ning Qing quickly communicated with the things inside the ring and immediately put a wooden box that exuded the aura of wood origin into his ring. He then took out a large pile of permanent essence pills and some scattered storage rings and put them into his ring. Catcha! Even if Ning Qing moved faster, he couldn't take away everything inside the ring before the ring turned into flying ash. However, Ning Qing felt satisfied. In any case, the wood origin bead had not been destroyed. At this moment, his celestial essence had withered, and his sea of consciousness felt empty. Ning Qing knew that even if an ordinary celestial novice cultivator came, he wouldn't be able to beat him. He immediately called out Chasing Bull to take control of the starry sky wheel and told Chasing Bull to escape from this place as soon as possible. He needed to find a safe place to heal. Within returning capital city, Yi Jiufeng broke the silence. Sect Master Ning is now our ally. He went to hunt down that red-haired man alone. Personally, he wanted to avenge the cultivators who died in returning capital city. In terms of fairness, he was invited by us to work for the same purpose. So, whether it's for public or private reasons, we should help. Monster Domain's great emperor Zhang Kong Tianji nodded. What junior apprentice Sister Nine Phoenix said is right, we should go and help. Although he looked strong and sturdy, that did not mean he was a simpleton. As for what Chuan Xinlo and Xiao Jierui were thinking, he already knew it. Chuan Xinlo also nodded in agreement. Junior apprentice Sister Nine Phoenix is right. Junior apprentice Sister Nine Phoenix and I will go to pick up Sect Master Ning. Heavenly Emperor Jierui and Heavenly Emperor Tianji will stay in Silent Bubble Starland. No one had any objections to Chuan Xinlo's words. Although Chuan Xinlo wanted Ning Cheng to die, he also knew that Ning Cheng dying at this time would not bring him any benefits. The hatred between him and Ning Cheng was far less than the threat of outsiders from the mysterious Yellow Starland. After half a day, Chuan Xinlo finally stopped. Chuan Xinlo felt the difference in this place, and so did Yi Jiufeng. What a powerful killing power and killing intent. Yi Jiufeng spoke up in shock. Although there was no one here, she could still feel the terrifying killing intent lingering in this place. Chuan Xinlo nodded. That's right. There was a great battle here not long ago, and both sides were not any weaker than me. After saying this, Chuan Xinlo gave out an imperceptible sigh. Who else could have fought here not long ago besides Ning Cheng and that red-haired man with a flat nose? He estimated that Ning Cheng's cultivation had made great progress during his years of seclusion. But he never expected Ning Cheng's progress to be so terrifying. Yi Jiufeng felt shocked when she heard Chuan Xinlo's words. How could she not understand what Chuan Xinlo meant? That is, Ning Cheng and that red-haired male cultivator had fought here. Had Ning Cheng's cultivation reached such a high level? How could it not be any weaker than Chuan Xinlo? One had to know that after Chuan Xinlo reached Dao-confirming realm, he had fought against Ning Cheng. At that time, she saw it with her own eyes. Although Ning Cheng didn't suffer any losses, she knew that Ning Cheng was far from being Chuan Xinlo's opponent. How many years had passed since then? How did Ning Cheng become so powerful? Leveled Heart Heavenly Emperor, who do you think would win if the two of them fought here? Yi Jiufeng hoped that Ning Cheng wouldn't lose. She also didn't have any confidence. She had seen the strength of that red-haired man with a flat nose with her own eyes. Even when 5 people attacked him, he could still walk away calmly. That kind of understanding of the laws of space wasn't something these heavenly emperors could compare to. Even leveled heart heavenly emperor's understanding of the laws of space couldn't compare to this person. Chuan Xinlo pondered for a moment before shaking his head and saying, I'm not sure. I've known Sect Master Ning for a long time. According to my understanding of Sect Master Ning, he's not an impulsive person. When you think that he's like this, he still has a backup plan. Therefore, I think Sect Master Ning should be fine. Chuan Xinlo didn't say these words casually. He and Ning Cheng had fought for the first time, the second time, and the few times he went to Stately River Star. When he first fought Ning Cheng, he thought that Ning Cheng still had the laws of time-related spirit technique, Sunset's Twilight. After he successfully confirmed his Tao, when he went to Stately River Star, he found that Ning Cheng had a younger sister who wasn't any weaker than him. This was also the main reason why Chuan Xinlo felt fear towards Ning Cheng. Because of these reasons, even after Ning Cheng took away 9 Jewels Starry Sky and stopped Leveled Heart Emperor Mountain from intervening in Striking Order Starry Sky, Chuan Xinlo didn't immediately go there. It was because he felt too much fear towards Ning Cheng. Leveled Heart Heavenly Emperor, I also have a hunch that Sect Master Ning should be fine. Why don't we wait for Sect Master Ning in Silent Bubble Starland? Yi Jiufeng immediately suggested after hearing Chuan Xinlo's words. Chuan Xinlo nodded. We'll wait in Silent Bubble Starland. This time, when we go to Mysterious Yellow Starland, without Sect Master Ning's help, our strength would be much weaker. Chapter 803. A month later, on a remote uninhabited planet in the Devil Domain Grand Starry Sky, Ning Cheng let out a sigh and slowly opened his eyes. His face still looked a little pale. Even after a month of healing and recovery, he still hadn't fully recovered. His sea of consciousness still ached. After experiencing the incident, he had some lingering fear. Fortunately, he hadn't brought out the 5-colored star splitter arrow when he was in the life and death realm. Otherwise, he might have turned into a jerky, and his starry sky body would have collapsed. Even after advancing to the eternal realm, his powerful sea of consciousness still caused this kind of damage. The five-colored star splitter arrow wasn't something an ordinary cultivator could bring out. If it weren't for a broken planet blocking the five-colored star splitter arrow's killing intent, he wouldn't have had the qualifications to refine it. Even so, Ning Cheng still suspected that it was strange for him to refine the five-colored star splitter arrow so quickly. While continuing to heal, Ning Cheng took out the jade box containing the wood origin bead and opened it. A rich wood origin aura seeped out, making Ning Cheng feel happy. He finally didn't take the risk in vain. Unfortunately, this wood origin bead was just as Shui Wuchang had said, only half. Fortunately, it was a large half. If it were the entire wood origin bead, Ning Cheng wouldn't hesitate to put it into the mysterious yellow bead to make his mysterious yellow bead complete. But as for this half of the wood origin bead, Ning Cheng hesitated for a long time and didn't dare to put it in. He worried that once he put in the broken wood origin bead, not only would it not have much effect, but it would also be completely destroyed. In case that was the case, he would suffer a huge loss. Even if he found the other half of the wood origin bead in the future, he wouldn't be able to make the mysterious yellow bead whole. Ning Cheng absolutely couldn't accept such a result. Ning Cheng carefully put away the wood origin bead and set up several restrictions around it. He wanted to see if he could find the other half of the wood origin bead. Only when he couldn't find it would he take the risk of integrating this half of the wood origin bead into his mysterious yellow bead. The red-haired man had a lot of things, but Ning Cheng couldn't find them. In addition to the wood origin bead, he also found a pile of permanent essence pills and several rings. Ning Cheng opened these rings one by one and found that most of them were empty. From the looks of it, the red-haired male cultivator must have tidied up the things inside. What made Ning Cheng pleasantly surprised was that he found 2 rings full of things. One of the rings contained nearly 40 to 50 star veins, over 100 million permanent essence pills, starry sky spirit grasses, artifact crafting and array formation materials. Although the other ring didn't have as much as this one, there were still quite a lot of things inside. Coupled with the permanent essence pills that Ning Cheng had previously rescued from the red-haired man's ring, as well as Ning Cheng's own cultivation resources. Just from this harvest, Ning Cheng had nearly 80 star veins, 150 million permanent essence pills, as well as piles of starry sky spirit grasses and artifact crafting materials. As for the medicinal pills, Ning Cheng directly ignored them. He himself was a peak-grade alchemy emperor. Why would he care about these pills? Ning Cheng soon realized who these 2 rings belonged to. One belonged to Ash Pagoda Chamber of Commerce's association head, Yi Tsang, while the other belonged to Ash Pagoda Chamber of Commerce's deputy association head, Sung Tajiang. The red-haired, flat-nosed man had snatched the rings from the 2 men, but before he could sort them out, he had taken them away. Ning Cheng couldn't help but sigh. He had paid a lot, and had almost lost his life. At the same time, he had also gained a lot. He had never obtained so many things in an accidental harvest. Feeling the 5-colored star splitter arrow on his wrist and the twin wings of the heavenly clouds that had undergone nirvana, Ning Cheng felt that he finally had a foothold in the starry skies. Half a month later, Ning Cheng brought out the starry sky wheel and returned to Silent Bubble Starland. Although his face still looked a little pale, he had recovered 90% of his strength. As for the rest, he could only rely on time to slowly recover. As soon as Ning Cheng returned, he immediately went to returning capital's City Master's Mansion. After more than a month, the City Master's Mansion, which had been reduced to ruins, had been rebuilt once again. Ning Cheng didn't find Chuan Xinlo, Xiao Jierui and the others in the City Master's Mansion. Fortunately, his spiritual consciousness sensed that Shui Wuchang was still here. Sensing the restriction at the door, Shui Wuchang felt shocked and quickly stood up. Ever since she realized that the red-haired man had come to kill her, she had become a little nervous. But when she saw Ning Cheng standing at the door through the restriction, she immediately opened the restriction in surprise and called out, "Senior Apprentice Brother Ning, it's you." Her surprise wasn't fake, but came from the bottom of her heart. If that red-haired man came again, she would have no choice but to wait for death. Ning Qing entered Shui Wuchang's room and helped Shui Wuchang activate the restriction before saying, "It's me. How come I don't see Chuan Xinluo and the others?" Shui Wuchang breathed a sigh of relief and said, "Leveled Heart Heavenly Emperor and the others waited for you for more than half a month. But after not hearing any news from you, they left returning capital Starry Sky City together. If I'm not wrong, they should have gone to the mysterious Yellow Starland." It was also because the 4 Starry Sky Emperors had left Silent Bubble Starland that Shui Wuchang felt so scared. In this place, she had no protection. If not for the possibility of Ning Qing returning, she would have already left this place secretly. "Senior Apprentice Brother Ning, did you really go after that red-haired cultivator?" Shui Wuchang could see that Ning Qing's face still looked a little pale. Since it took him so long to return to Silent Bubble Starland, she even suspected that Ning Qing had suffered some serious injuries. Ning Qing also saw Shui Wuchang's worries and nodded, "Yes, I did go after that fellow." But after hesitating for a while, Ning Qing spoke up, "You don't have to worry about it now. I killed that fellow." The reason why he said those words was that he had obtained the news about the wood origin bead and came to this place thanks to Shui Wuchang. No matter what relationship he had with Shui Wuchang before, it was all in the past. At least for now, he and Shui Wuchang were still friends. Now that Shui Wuchang had helped him, it would be a bit too much for him to hide it from Shui Wuchang. Shui Wuchang was still thinking about how Ning Qing escaped from the red-haired man. But when she suddenly heard Ning Qing say that he killed the red-haired man, she couldn't believe it at all. She opened her mouth and even subconsciously covered her mouth with her hand. She couldn't believe what she had just heard. Ning Qing was naturally strong. If Ning Qing wasn't strong, then Chuan Xinluo and Qiao Jierui wouldn't have feared him. Moreover, they wouldn't have heard that he had crippled the Spirit Devil Island's 3rd island master with a single punch. But no matter how strong Ning Qing was, he should have a bottom line. She had seen the power of the red-haired man with her own eyes. How could Ning Qing defeat the red-haired man? Not only Ning Qing, but even Chuan Xinluo, the most powerful of the 4 Starry Sky Emperors, might not be as strong as that man. Ning Qing interrupted Shui Wuchang's shock. "Fairy Wuchang. Senior Apprentice Brother Ning, if you think highly of me, just call me Wuchang." Shui Wuchang finally recovered and looked at Ning Qing with a serious expression. "Okay, Wuchang. Leveled Heart Heavenly Emperor and the others went to the mysterious Yellow Starland, but I'm not optimistic about them. I'm planning to go to the mysterious Yellow Starland. You helped me before and I know your father. I'll help you pay attention." Ning Qing, seeing that Chuan Xinluo and the others had already left, decided to go alone. The reason why he wasn't optimistic about Chuan Xinluo and the others was that the red-haired man was too powerful. If the mysterious Yellow Starland had a few more such powerful fellows, it would be a miracle if 2 of Chuan Xinluo's group of 4 managed to escape. However, he had to go there. Otherwise, he would feel sorry for the giant who saved his life. "Senior Apprentice Brother Ning, I'll go with you. I have some means to escape. If it's a last resort, I won't drag you down," Shui Wuchang said firmly. Ning Qing initially wanted Shui Wuchang to stay behind, but now that Shui Wuchang insisted on going with him, he didn't refuse. After all, he had to go back and invite Shen Mengyan, and Shen Mengyan's cultivation wasn't higher than Shui Wuchang's. "Wuchang, it's all thanks to you that I could get back that half of the wood origin bead. This ring is my reward for you. In addition, I hope you won't tell anyone about the wood origin bead." Ning Qing took out a ring and handed it to Shui Wuchang. Shui Wuchang naturally understood Ning Qing's meaning and quickly took the ring. "Senior Apprentice Brother Ning, rest assured. If it weren't for Senior Apprentice Brother Ning, I'm afraid that person would have killed me. No matter what happens, I won't tell anyone about it." Shui Wuchang took the ring to put Ning Qing at ease. However, when her spiritual sense fell into the ring, she almost screamed out loud. The ring contained 10 million permanent essence pills and a bunch of cultivation medicinal pills. "I can't accept so many things." Seeing so many things, Shui Wuchang couldn't help but feel envious. But she knew that she couldn't accept them. She had only provided a piece of information. If she really took so many things, Ning Qing would probably look at her in a different light. She was about to return the ring to Ning Cheng when she saw Ning Cheng smile and say, "Since I can give you so many things, it means that I have the ability to give it to you. Not to mention these things, even if you gave me several times more, as long as I can find the wood origin bead, I would willingly give it to you." Ning Cheng didn't speak nonsense. If it weren't for Shui Wuchang's reminder, he might have missed the wood origin bead. Half a month later, Ning Cheng returned to Stately River Star and told Ji Lufei, Ning Ruolin, Song Tsaiha and the others about his trip to the mysterious Yellow Starland. After that, he left Stately River Star with Shen Mengyan and Shui Wuchang. Ning Ruolin and Ji Luofei both knew that their strength was too low. Plus, with Ning Cheng bringing back so many cultivation resources, the only thing they needed to do was to go into secluded cultivation. The starry sky wheel moved quickly. In less than half a month, the mysterious Yellow Starland could be seen with one's spiritual consciousness. How did it turn out like this? Shui Wuchang stood on the deck of the starry sky wheel and looked at the huge starland in front of her. Not to mention Shui Wuchang, even Ning Cheng couldn't believe it. He had been to the mysterious Yellow Starland once before. At that time, before entering the mysterious Yellow Starland, he had already felt the layers of greenery. It had only been a few years, but when he came to the mysterious Yellow Starland again, he didn't see layers of greenery, but a deathly gray aura. It reminded Ning Cheng of the sacred Light Mountain Range in the mysterious Yellow Starland. The first time he saw the sacred Light Mountain Range, it also had a deathly gray aura. However, the sacred Light Mountain Range was barren, and it didn't have this deathly gray aura. The starry sky wheel stopped outside the mysterious Yellow Starland, and Ning Cheng stared at it for a long time before suddenly saying, "I understand." "What's wrong?" Shen Mengyan and Shui Wuchang asked at the same time. Shen Mengyan had never been to the mysterious Yellow Starland before, so she didn't feel too surprised. Ning Cheng took in a deep breath and slowly said, "Someone wants to refine the mysterious Yellow Starland, and it's not an ordinary refinement." Chapter 804. Shen Mengyan and Shui Wuchang screamed at the same time. Refining a starland? The mysterious Yellow Starland wasn't an ordinary starland, but a supersized starland comparable to Culmination Starland and Silent Bubble Starland. The reason why it didn't form a huge starry sky was because of its location. Who could refine such a starland? Is there really someone here refining the mysterious Yellow Starland? Shui Wuchang still couldn't believe it. Ning Cheng nodded, "I don't think I'm wrong. I haven't come into contact with refining a starland, but these people are indeed refining the mysterious Yellow Starland." Not to mention that he had never come into contact with refining a starland, Ning Cheng had never even heard of refining an ordinary planet. He had only heard of refining an ordinary planet as a true spirit world. Shen Mengyan took in a deep breath and asked, "Why are these people doing this? There are so many abandoned planets in the vast universe. Since they want to refine it, why not choose an abandoned starland or planet?" Ning Cheng truly didn't know what was going on. However, Shui Wuchang spoke up, "I know a little about it. I heard that only a starland with a complete foundation and a clear heaven and earth law network would have any value in refining it. Those uninhabited broken planets don't even have a complete foundation, and their laws are completely destroyed. It would be useless to refine it." Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness forcibly passed through the star-protecting grand array and exclaimed, "Heavenly Emperor Leveled Heart and the others should be trapped in a huge array formation. From the looks of it, it looks like they are struggling." Ning Cheng didn't see Chuan Xinlo and the others, but he felt bursts of starry sky essence chi fluctuations, which should be spatial fluctuations from a battle. Since it could trap Chuan Xinlo's group of 4, it definitely wasn't just an array formation. "Let's go down and have a look." Ning Cheng said to Shen Mengyan and Shui Wuchang, "Put away the starry sky wheel, and walk towards the mysterious Yellow Starland through the void." Ning Cheng's group of 3 stepped into the periphery of the mysterious Yellow Starland, but no one came to stop them. Shen Mengyan and Shui Wuchang both felt that something was wrong. Shen Mengyan spoke up with some worry, "Ning Cheng, Leveled Heart Heavenly Emperor is trapped. Why didn't anyone stop us from entering the mysterious Yellow Starland?" Because he also wants to trap the three of us. Ning Cheng smiled and threw out some array flags. When the three of them landed on the public square on the periphery of the mysterious yellow starland, bursts of roars echoed throughout the starry sky. In just a few breaths, the Ning Cheng trio could no longer feel the starry skies outside the starland. What appeared before the three of them was a boundless black world. It might not be right to call it a black world. It would be more accurate to call it a starry sky filled with endless insects. These insects were pitch black and constantly spat out black mist. Some of the bigger ones could even spit out some wind blades and flames. Bursts of pungent smell filled the air. Even Shui Wuchang and Shen Mengyan, both in the heaven-seated realm, couldn't help but feel nauseous. It was conceivable that it would be a disaster if the black water spat out by the black insect splashed onto his body. It would be strange if there was any benefit to being splashed by this incomparably smelly black water. The endless number of black insects was only a portion of the attack. Streams of spatial pressure that could suppress one's cultivation base spread out, causing one to feel even more stifled and flustered. Without Ning Cheng's reminder, Shen Mengyan and Shui Wuchang had already seen Chuan Xinluo and the others. At this moment, the four heavenly emperors looked a little embarrassed. They could only bring out weapons to protect themselves while constantly bombarding the black insects around them. Especially Chuan Xinluo. Every time his burning sky eroding sun pagoda spat out flames, an endless swarm of insects would turn to ash. But no matter how powerful his attacks were, he couldn't kill all of these insects. The more he killed, the fewer insects there were. Instead, the more he attacked, the more insects appeared. With Chuan Xinluo's cultivation, even if he trapped a planet in an ordinary place, he could shatter it with a single attack. But in this place, no matter how much lethality he unleashed, the array formation still blocked his attacks and couldn't cause any more damage. As long as the four of them couldn't break this entrapment array formation, the four of them would eventually die of exhaustion. Of course, Ning Cheng believed that these four people should have some means to escape, they just hadn't used it yet. The reason why Chuan Xinluo's group of four couldn't break this array formation was not because they were too weak, but because someone was directing this array formation. The cultivator controlling this array formation not only commanded the insects but also suppressed the cultivation of Chuan Xinluo's group of four through this spatial array formation. Another reason was that none of Chuan Xinluo's group of four was a true expert in the Tao of array formations. Not long after Ning Cheng's group of three entered the entrapment array formation, endless black insects swarmed towards them. Although Shui Wuchang and Shen Mengyan could block the attacks of these insects, they still turned pale. These insects were disgusting, not only because of the disgusting black liquid they spat out, but also because of the disgusting appearance of these insects. Not only did they have one eye, but they also had serrated feet. These insects also had potholes all over their bodies, and these potholes continuously flowed with black filth. The biggest of these insects was about half a foot, while the smallest ones weren't even the size of a rice grain. "I'll do it." Ning Cheng saw Shui Wuchang and Shen Mengyan about to bring out their weapons and spoke up with a smile. "You." Shen Mengyan and Shui Wuchang both looked at Ning Cheng in doubt. With so many insects, everyone naturally had to work together. How could one person kill all of them? Ning Cheng didn't answer. Instead, he raised his hand and shot out several time wheels. If he used the time wheels to fight against Chuan Xinluo's burning sky eroding sun pagoda, the time wheels might not have an advantage. However, if he used the time wheels to fight against Chuan Xinluo's burning sky eroding sun pagoda, then even 10 Chuan Xinluos couldn't compare. Every time Chuan Xinluo's burning sky eroding sun pagoda blasted out a pale white flame, countless insects would die. At the same time, the area around him would become empty. It's just that this kind of empty space would quickly be filled up by excess insects. However, Ning Cheng's time wheels were different. The time wheels were a laws of time-related spirit technique. Once it swept out, everything within the range of Ning Cheng's power would turn into a flat plane, while the consumption would not be too great. As long as one went to the time wilderness and saw the endless flat land swept out by the time wheels, they would naturally understand the power of the time wheels. Shui Wuchang and Shen Mengyan stared blankly at the gray light wheels that Ning Qing blasted out. Everything in front of the light wheels had turned into nothingness, without even a trace left behind. Wherever the light wheels went, it would become a flat land without any black obstructing their line of sight. Ning Qing waved his hands and shot out one light wheel after another. In the next moment, the endless insects in front of him disappeared, leaving behind only the light wheels that kept moving forward. In just a few breaths, the endless black space cleared up. Not to mention insects, there wasn't even a single protruding stone. Chuan Xinluo and the others had already seen Ning Cheng's trio come in, but they couldn't pay any attention to Ning Cheng. When Ning Cheng's time wheels kept blasting out, turning the endless insects into nothingness, they looked at Ning Cheng in shock. But soon, the four reacted. Rushing out of the encirclement of black insects, they entered the place where Ning Cheng had swept through. The four of them had just left the encirclement of insects when a time wheel swept past the place where they had stayed. The four of them could only watch as a black line disappeared without a trace in front of the time wheel. Then this empty space stretched out. It seemed that as long as there were insects, this light wheel would continue to move forward. What a powerful law of time-related spirit technique. In front of time, everything is illusory. Chuan Xinluo looked at Ning Cheng's time wheel and murmured. He knew that Ning Cheng had touched the edge of the laws of time. But to be honest, he didn't care much about it. After all, he wasn't afraid of Ning Cheng's sunset's twilight. Even when Ning Cheng used the time wheel in returning Capital City, he didn't care much about it. Although the time wheel was strong, his burning sky-eroding sun pagoda could block it. Only now did he realize how powerful the law of time was. The only reason why he was able to block it was probably because his realm was much higher than Ning Cheng's. One day, once Ning Cheng's realm rose, and his comprehension of the laws of time reached a new level, what would he use to block the laws of time? Perhaps apart from the law of time, there was no other way to block the law of time. Sect Master Ning, you're so strong. Zhang Kong Tianji put away his weapon and was the first to come to Ning Cheng's side before giving him a thumbs up and praising him. Xiao Jierui remained silent. Although he had not spoken much about Ning Cheng's trip to returning capital, he had already regarded Ning Cheng as a dead man in his heart. As long as he reached Dao confirming, the first person he would kill would be Ning Cheng. He didn't have Chuan Xinluo's patience. But now, his heart turned cold. How long has it been? Ning Cheng had already grown so strong that he had to look up to him. Ning Cheng chased after the red-haired man and came here unscathed. From this, Ning Cheng most likely killed the red-haired man. Although he didn't see Ning Cheng kill the red-haired man, he saw the power of Ning Cheng's time wheel with his own eyes. He had personally dealt with these insects before. He also had a large-scale killing spirit technique, but compared to Ning Cheng's law of time light wheel, this spirit technique couldn't compare. After the Chuan Xinluo trio approached Ning Cheng no longer had any scruples. The time wheel turned into a shadow of time and shot out. In just a few breaths, the sky-covering darkness disappeared. Ning Cheng knew that he didn't kill all these black insects. Maybe if these black insects continued to pour out, he could really kill them all. The black insects that disappeared in front of him, apart from the ones he killed, had most likely been taken back by someone else. Most likely, the owner of these insects knew that using these black insects to deal with him was just wishful thinking. A man in a gray robe slowly appeared in front of everyone. This gray-robed man didn't have eyes. Instead, he had a complete piece of skin where his eyes should have been. It made people feel a little uncomfortable looking at him. After he appeared, the suppression of the surrounding space seemed to loosen a bit. Ning Cheng was proficient in array formations, so he naturally knew that the space-locking grand array in front of him had something to do with this person. You're strong. The gray-robed man faced Ning Cheng and spoke slowly. Since he didn't have eyes, no one could see the expression in his eyes. Ning Cheng didn't answer the gray-robed man's words. He noticed that the gray-robed man had a bamboo cage behind him, and the bamboo cage exuded bursts of black insect aura. If you think that you can break through my space-locking grand array with your own means, then you're wrong. The gray-robed man's tone remained calm. Even if I don't use my black treasure, you can't get out of here. If you don't believe me, you can try. Chapter 805. Is that so? Ningqing smiled and raised his hand to throw out a handful of array flags. At the same time, he also threw out a bunch of permanent essence pills. Boom, boom, boom. A series of explosions rang out like a dragon. In just a dozen breaths, everyone's field of vision cleared up. The oppressive space disappeared completely, and the residual stench also dissipated. Everyone knew that Ningqing had easily broken through the grand array that the eyeless cultivator had spoken about a moment ago. The eyeless cultivator's expression changed. He didn't expect that this young cultivator, who had just come in, could break through his space-locking grand array and break it so easily. From this, it also showed that this young cultivator entered the grand array voluntarily. Otherwise, he wouldn't have even approached this grand array. Ningqing spoke with a calm voice. You think a mere starry sky grade 9 space-locking array can stop me? You think too highly of yourself. In fact, this eyeless male cultivator truly didn't think too highly of himself. He just didn't expect Ningqing to be a starry sky grade 9 array emperor. Besides, how could a starry sky grade 9 grand array be called mere? If he knew that Ningqing was a starry sky grade 9 array emperor, he naturally wouldn't have said that. A starry sky grade 9 space-locking array, under his full control, could even trap a starry sky grade 9 array emperor. However, this array emperor in front of him had already started to arrange the array breaking flags before entering the grand array. Because he wanted to use the array formation to suppress Chuan Xinluo's group of 4, he didn't have the energy to pay attention to Ningqing. Or rather, he didn't expect Ningqing to have such high attainments in the Tao of arrays, which led to such a mistake. Did he break the array just like that? Chuan Xinluo couldn't believe it as he looked at the empty space in front of him that had lost its suppression. Although he didn't care about the eyeless man's words, he didn't think that he could really be trapped. However, Ningqing breaking the array so easily still shocked him. At this moment, he suddenly realized that when he prepared to deal with Ningqing, he didn't take Ningqing's attainments in the Tao of arrays into account. Against a powerhouse like Ningqing, even a little mistake could cost him his life. What's more, did he neglect such an important thing? Chuan Xinluo kept thinking about his own thoughts and forgot about coming to the mysterious yellow starland. The gray-robed eyeless cultivator stared at Ningqing. He couldn't figure out how Ningqing's Tao of arrays could be so powerful. I didn't expect that there would be a powerhouse who controls the laws of time in this part of the starry sky. It's my Mandarin's negligence. Mingyuan, please invite them to my 9th Emperor Peak. A loud laughter sounded in everyone's ears, but no one could see where the person was. After hearing this voice, the eyeless gray-robed cultivator immediately became polite. Guests, please follow me. His tone was gentle, as if he wasn't the one who had trapped everyone and started fighting. Everyone immediately looked at Ningqing, even Chuan Xinluo looked at Ningqing. Ningqing's strength was not worse than his, but the key point was that Ningqing was proficient in array formations. The person who spoke wasn't even here, yet he knew everything that was happening here. It could be seen just how powerful this person's cultivation was. However, Ningqing had come to the mysterious yellow starland for some reason, so he naturally wouldn't be scared off by a single voice. He looked at the eyeless gray-robed cultivator and said, "Lead the way." The eyeless cultivator cupped his hands towards Ningqing. "My name is Mingyuan." Ningqing nodded but did not speak. He naturally knew that this eyeless cultivator had a high ambition and took the initiative to speak his name to get him to sign up. However, Ningqing didn't intend to sign up at all, let alone get to know the other party. If he had the chance, he wouldn't mind killing this eyeless cultivator. After he broke the array formation, his spiritual consciousness swept through a part of the mysterious yellow starland. The once bustling Moi city now had no signs of human habitation. It was a broken ghost city with death aura lingering around it. As for the mysterious yellow starland, it was even more barren. From this, it could be seen that the only thing this group of people did here was to extinguish the life force of this starland. This was a group of murderers who killed without batting an eye. He didn't want to get to know them. Seeing Ningqing ignore him, Yi Mingyuan didn't continue to ask and took the initiative to enter the mysterious yellow starland. After setting foot on the ground of the mysterious yellow starland, Shui Wuchang's expression immediately changed. At this moment, the mysterious yellow starland couldn't even be described as a living starland. Everything in sight was gray and filled with death aura. Moi City, on the other hand, looked like a ghost city. Seeing this, how could Shui Wuchang not know that her father had died? Not to mention her father, most likely, all the cultivators in the mysterious yellow starland had perished. Ning Cheng stopped outside Moi City and seemed to think about something. The 9th prince is waiting for you in the sacred light city. Please come with me. Yi Mingyuan smiled and stretched out his hand to lead them in the direction of the sacred light mountain range. Even without Yi Mingyuan's words, Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness had already swept into the sacred light mountain range. The sacred light mountain range, which used to be covered in yellow sand, had now turned into a magnificent city. This city looked a bit weird, with a mountain peak rising up in the middle. This magnificent city also had a weak vitality, and the 3 words Sacred Light City were engraved on the surface of this giant city. Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness penetrated it without hesitation but found that this Sacred Light City didn't have any spiritual consciousness restrictions. His spiritual consciousness easily swept in and saw the towering mountain building in the middle of the city. In front of this towering mountain building, there were a few strange words suspended in the air: 9th Emperor's Peak. Please come with me into the city. Seeing Ning Cheng stop outside Moi City and not move even after he asked him to come with him, Yi Mingyuan could only say it again. Since Ning Cheng could sweep into the Sacred Light City, Chuan Xinlo and the others naturally could also sweep into it with their spiritual consciousness. They also had some doubts as to why the Sacred Light City didn't have any spiritual consciousness restrictions. Ning Cheng spoke to Yi Mingyuan in a calm voice. Go back and tell your 9th prince that I'll be waiting for him in Moi City. After saying that, Ning Cheng didn't wait for Yi Mingyuan to answer and turned around to enter Moi City. Seeing Ning Cheng enter Moi City, Shui Wuchang and Shen Mengyan naturally followed Ning Cheng into Moi City. Chuan Xinlo's group of 4 didn't understand Ning Cheng's intentions, but since everyone was on the same side now, they naturally wouldn't act against each other. Seeing Ning Cheng and the others enter Moi City, Yi Mingyuan didn't get angry. Instead, he cupped his fists and spoke up politely. In that case, I will go back and report to the 9th prince. Seeing Yi Mingyuan walk away, Yi Jiufeng frowned and said, What is the origin of this 9th prince? Shui Wuchang gritted her teeth and said, No matter where he came from, he's a demon. From the deathly aura around the mysterious yellow starland, I can tell that he killed everyone here. Ning Cheng spoke up in a deep voice. It's not certain that he killed everyone. The mysterious yellow starland is huge. As long as he doesn't refine it, he can't kill everyone here. Ning Cheng immediately thought of the altar of forefathers' library in the Thousand Mound Forest. He felt sure that no matter how powerful the 9th prince was, he couldn't refine the altar of forefathers' library. The 9th Emperor's Peak in the middle of Sacred Light City looks strange. It looks a bit like an altar. Chuan Xinlo spoke with a solemn voice. It doesn't look like an altar. It's an altar, and that altar is used to refine the mysterious yellow starland. I don't think that the 9th prince would be able to refine the mysterious yellow starland without a few hundred years. Ning Cheng replied. He studied array formations and had long since noticed that the 9th Emperor's Peak had a top-grade sacrificial array. The reason why he didn't go to Sacred Light City was that he felt that Sacred Light City wasn't as simple as it looked. Don't look at the city's surface, and it didn't seem to have any array formation restrictions. But when Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness fell into the Sacred Light City, he immediately felt a threat. He felt sure that the Sacred Light City had a trap and kill array. It's just that he couldn't see it. Ning Cheng naturally wouldn't take risks for something he didn't have the slightest confidence in. The star-protecting Grand Array outside the mysterious yellow starland looked simple, and Moi City didn't have any array formations around it. If he stayed in Moi City, he wouldn't feel threatened by any trap and kill array. Only a fool would go to Sacred Light City. After the few people walked into Moi City, a decaying and dilapidated aura hit them in the face. Ning Cheng and Shui Wuchang couldn't believe that this place was a lively and prosperous place just a few years ago. Everyone fell silent, and after a while, Chuan Xinlo spoke up, "Sect Master Ning, where should we meet the 9th prince? Let's go to Shui clan's place." After that, Ning Cheng looked at Shui Wuchang and said, "Wuchang, take Leveled Heart Heavenly Emperor and the others to your Shui clan's guest hall. I'll be there in a minute." Shui Wuchang naturally didn't ask what Ning Cheng wanted to do. Instead, she bowed to Chuan Xinlo and the others and said, "Several heavenly emperors, please come with me." Chuan Xinlo and the others had already guessed what Ning Cheng wanted to do, but they didn't ask about it. At least, Ning Cheng was now on their side. After Chuan Xinlo and the others left, Ning Cheng took out array flags and started to sprinkle them around Moi City. After he sprinkled these array flags, they quickly disappeared into the void or fell into the ruins. They didn't emit even the slightest celestial essence fluctuation. Half an hour later, when Ning Cheng arrived at Shui clan's guest hall, everyone had already sat down. Shui Wuchang had also tidied up the Shui clan's guest hall, and with a few people sitting down, it felt a bit more lively. When Ning Cheng came in, he saw that the seat of honor on the left was empty. Sitting next to the seat of honor was Shen Mengyan. Chuan Xinlo, Yi Jiufeng, Qiao Jirui, Zhang Kongtianji and Shui Wuchang followed suit. When Ning Cheng saw the seating arrangement, he immediately understood. The main person facing the 9th prince today wasn't Chuan Xinlo, but Ning Cheng. Chuan Xinlo understood it very well. Otherwise, with Chuan Xinlo's status, it would have been impossible for him to sit below Ning Cheng. As for Shen Mengyan sitting next to Ning Cheng also understood it very well. Presumably, Chuan Xinlo knew about his relationship with Shen Mengyan. Or in the eyes of Chuan Xinlo and the others, Shen Mengyan was equivalent to Ning Cheng's mother-in-law. Letting Shen Mengyan sit next to Ning Cheng, in addition to showing respect to Ning Cheng, it also meant that Sect Master Ning would be in charge of today's matters. Even if the position was given to Ning Cheng would still have to take care of it. Ning Cheng showed a faint smile. He didn't care about where he sat at all. For him, no matter where he sat, he would do what he should do. Even if he shouldn't do something, it wouldn't change just because he sat in the first seat. Not long after Ning Cheng sat down, the space in the hall distorted, and several figures suddenly appeared in the middle of the guest hall. Chapter 806. 6 people appeared in the guest hall, led by a young-looking man. If it weren't for the faint ripples on his face, this man would have been considered a handsome young man. However, Ning Cheng would never regard him as a handsome young man. The Dao charm fluctuations coming from this man didn't lose out to the red-haired cultivator he killed. In fact, it felt even stronger. On each side of this young man was a charming young girl. One of the girls had silver hair but looked dignified. The other girl had a strange white skin and exuded a coquettish aura. Behind these 3 people were 3 other men. One of them was Yi Mingyuan, the one who had arranged the array formation and released the stinky black insects to trap Chuan Xinlo and the others. Standing beside Yi Mingyuan was a thin cultivator who was not much better than a bamboo pole. Perhaps because this person was too thin, his face was like a skeleton, without any expression, looking extremely wooden. The last male cultivator wore a mask, making it impossible to see his appearance. Even his aura was concealed. The man with the ripples on his face walked directly to the highest seat on the right, while the 2 women separated and stood behind this man. After the man with the ripples on his face sat down, Yi Mingyuan and the other 2 sat down in turn. Only after the few people sat down did the man with the ripples on his face turn to Ning Cheng. "You sure put on a lot of airs to make me come here in person. But since a talent like you came to my place, I, Manjuran, am not a stingy person. I have always been kind to people with ability." Ning Cheng didn't care about this Manjuran. Even if Yi Mingyuan's spiritual consciousness fell on him as soon as he came in, he didn't care about it. What puzzled him was the man with the mask on his face. This man had been staring at him since he came in. It was as if he was staring at a life-and-death enemy. He couldn't even control his murderous aura. Even if this fellow wore a mask, Ning Cheng felt sure that he had never seen this fellow before. He also didn't know why this fellow had such a big grudge against him. After hearing Manjurin's words, Ning Qing didn't pay any more attention to the man with the mask on his face. Instead, he calmly spoke to Manjurin. You should be the 9th prince that Yi Mingyuan mentioned, right? I think we have to figure something out before we start. This place doesn't belong to you, 9th prince, but mysterious Yellow Starland's Moi City's Shui clan. Moreover, the Shui clan's people are sitting here right now. Remember, don't casually say that other people's things belong to you. Otherwise, I will despise you. After hearing Ning Cheng's words, Manjurin froze for a moment before laughing. That's in the past. Now, the mysterious Yellow Starland belongs to me, Manjurin. His words carried an unquestionable tone, and a powerful Dao charm spread out from his body. Apparently, he wanted Jurin to kill him. Originally, Chuan Xinlo wanted to kill all the outsiders from the mysterious Yellow Starland, but now he naturally changed his mind. Chuan Xinlo wanted to kill all the outsiders in his place. At this, he, including Jiu Man, and Jiu if they heat his brother his s right heat eyes teat he's the other's eyes I tes. The few of us came here today to reach an agreement with the 9th prince. Before Chuan Xinlo could finish, Manjurin interrupted him with a cold snort. You're not qualified to reach an agreement with me. Chuan Xinlo's face turned livid with anger, but he still didn't dare to do anything. Manjurin didn't care about it. Instead, he turned to Ning Cheng and said, I came here today for you. If not for you, I wouldn't have bothered with these people. You don't have high cultivation, but you can touch the laws of time and even have a way to kill Honglun. I'm very interested in you. Tell me, what's your name? Ning Cheng's heart sank. He guessed who Honglun was. It was the red-haired man with a flat nose, whom he killed. Seeing Ning Cheng frowning and not speaking, Manjurin spoke up in a cold voice. I like you, and I just want you to join me, Manjurin. I won't treat you badly. I can write off the matter of you killing Honglun. Otherwise, I, Manjurin, will avenge Honglun. As for that charming Dao companion of yours, you should have thought of the consequences. The masked male cultivator heard Manjurin say that Shen Mengyan was Ning Cheng's Dao companion, and clenched his fists even tighter. Ning Cheng spoke up with disdain. Manjurin, I think you've become a prince. You're just an idiot. When Manjurin heard Ning Cheng's words, the lines on his face turned horrifying. Today, he took the initiative to come to Ning Cheng's place to invite Ning Cheng to join him. It was the lowest position he had ever taken. If not for Ning Cheng's attainments in the Tao of Arrays and the laws of time-spirit technique, how could he have come to this place? Now, he was courteous to the wise, yet he was called an idiot by an ant. If he didn't kill this ant today, where would he, Manjurin, put his face? Manjurin liked talented people, but he wouldn't allow his subordinates to offend their superiors. Although Ning Cheng hadn't joined him yet, in his eyes, Ning Cheng had already offended his superiors. Kill them all. Leave the woman next to this ant. We'll kill her together later. After Manjurin finished speaking, he raised his hand and brought out a golden whip. Sure enough, a bunch of beasts. Shen Mengyan trembled in anger. The moment Manjurin shouted, Ning Cheng brought out his celestial rainbow purgatory spear. Chuan Xinlo and Yi Jiufeng also brought out their weapons. For Ning Cheng's side, Chuan Xinlo had the highest cultivation. Therefore, Ning Cheng thought that Chuan Xinlo would hold off the 9th prince. Unexpectedly, after Chuan Xinlo brought out the burning sky eroding sun pagoda, he rushed straight towards Yi Mingyuan and spoke with a stern voice. What's the use of array formations? Die for me. While speaking, white flames erupted from the burning sky eroding sun pagoda, which almost melted the surrounding space. People who didn't know would have thought that Chuan Xinlo really hated Yi Mingyuan and chose to attack Yi Mingyuan. Only Ning Cheng understood that Chuan Xinlo didn't dare to fight Manjurin and let him deal with Manjurin. Qiao Jierui and Zhang Kong Tianji also brought out their weapons at the same time, and the two teamed up to deal with the bamboo-like cultivator. They could see that the strongest person here was the 9th prince, followed by Yi Mingyuan, and then the bamboo-like cultivator. As for the masked cultivator, although mysterious, he didn't seem to have a strong cultivation. At most, he was at the late-stage eternal realm. Yi Jiufeng was the last to take action. She was surrounded by the masked cultivator and the two women beside Chuan Xinluo. As for Shui Wuchang and Shen Mengyan, they were both in the heaven-seated realm. In this kind of battle, they couldn't intervene at all and could only retreat. The golden whip in Manjurin's hand shook, and layers of space surged. Let me see how powerful your laws of time-related spirit technique is. As soon as the battle started, Chuan Xinluo and the others rushed out. Shui clan's already dilapidated lair turned into a pile of rubble. At this moment, Moi City's space surged, celestial essence kept exploding, and all kinds of lore-related spirit techniques collided with each other. Moi City was already a ghost city. But under this kind of violent battle, even the broken buildings disappeared, turning into a crisscrossing ravine. Although Chuan Xinluo had been trapped by Yi Mingyuan before, he wasn't much weaker than Yi Mingyuan in terms of strength. The two fought from inside the city to outside the city, and the more they fought, the fiercer it became. Qiao Jierui and Zhang Kong Tianji, on the other hand, fought to a draw with the bamboo-like cultivator. On the contrary, Yi Jiufeng had the upper hand. Yi Jiufeng's strength was second only to Chuan Xinluo. Although she had 3 opponents, they were relatively weak. Ning Cheng stared at the space surging created by Manjurin. Looking at Manjurin's movements, he couldn't help but secretly complain in his heart. He knew that he wasn't Manjurin's opponent. Not only was he not this fellow's opponent, but the gap between them wasn't just 1 or 2 points. Although the other party didn't make a move, the layers of space surging created by the golden whip felt as if the entire universe was contained within the whip. As long as Ning Cheng moved, the layers of space surging would crush him into powder. It's just that Chuan Xinluo didn't have the guts to give him the strongest opponent. This prince will let you make the first move. Otherwise, after I make my move, I'm afraid you won't be able to display any laws of time-related spirit techniques for the rest of your life. Manjurin stared at Ning Cheng with a sarcastic tone. Ning Cheng took in a deep breath. He knew that Manjurin wasn't talking nonsense. Once Manjurin made his move, this space would no longer belong to him. Even with his sunset's twilight, he might not be able to break free. In other words, if Manjurin made the first move, he might not even have the chance to make a move. Ning Cheng's thoughts immediately connected to the 5-colored star splitter arrow. Apart from this arrow, he didn't know what other means he could use to suppress Manjurin. The difference in strength between him and Manjurin was just too great. A strong desire rose in his heart, a thirst for strength. The 5-colored star splitter arrow had severely injured him when he tried to kill Honglun. How long had it been? He wanted to use the 5-colored star splitter arrow again. After his injuries healed, he had warned himself not to use the 5-colored star splitter arrow casually. But he had no choice but to use it. The last time, it was to complete the mysterious yellow bead. But this time, it was to save his life. You two leave immediately. Leave the mysterious yellow starland. Leave this place to me. Ning Cheng sent a voice transmission to Shui Wuchang and Shen Mengyan. Apart from him and Manjurin, only Shui Wuchang and Shen Mengyan remained. The rest had long since left Moi City. Shui Wuchang understood that things had already reached this point. If she stayed here, she would only be a burden. Ning Cheng had just finished speaking when she brought out a talisman. After the talisman flashed, her entire person disappeared from this place without a trace. Shen Mengyan sighed. She didn't have a talisman. At the same time, she didn't want to leave. She had a vague feeling that Yu Yuechen had truly come to this place. Seeing Shui Wuchang use the talisman to leave, Manjurin snorted, "Since you don't want to fight, then die." The golden whip rolled up, and for a moment, the entire sky above Moi City turned into a tumbling space. A thought that he didn't belong in this place rose up in Ning Cheng's heart for no reason. Ning Cheng's sea of consciousness stirred, and the next moment, he brought out the 5-colored star splitter arrow. Chapter 807. Ning Cheng had used the 5-colored star splitter arrow before and knew how terrifying this arrow was. As long as he started using it, he couldn't take it back. Therefore he had to shoot it. Moreover, if the five-colored star splitter arrow didn't absorb enough celestial essence and didn't have enough spiritual consciousness, it wouldn't be able to shoot it. It could only continue to absorb the celestial essence of the person who shot it. If one didn't have enough strength, even before the five-colored star splitter arrow's backlash, the violent absorption would turn the person who shot it into jerky. Manjurin looked at Ningqing with a sneer, but he didn't make the first move. It wasn't that he wanted to keep his promise, but that he still hoped that Ningqing could become his subordinate. Once Ningqing made his move, he would find that the laws of time-related spirit techniques were nothing in his eyes. At that time, he might have no choice but to rely on him. He was a person who did great things, and he lacked subordinates who could touch the laws of time. Ningqing took out a few array flags and a jade strip and put them in Shen Mingyan's hand before sending her a voice transmission. Once I fall, you rush out immediately. Once you reach the main street of Moi City, throw out these array flags and head to the place recorded in the jade strip. He feared that he would lose too much this time and wouldn't even be able to take out the array flags. Fortunately, Shen Mingyan was here. If Shen Mingyan weren't here, he would have called out Chasing Bull. Ningqing had just finished doing this when the five-colored star splitter arrow he shot out turned into a five-colored crescent rainbow suspended in the air. A black arrow exuding a terrifying killing intent landed on the five-colored crescent moon. Manjurin's expression changed. The violent and terrifying killing intent swept over the sky. At this moment, the entire space no longer fell under Manjurin's control. Instead, the black arrow swept over everything. After the black arrow swept through the violent killing intent, it started to fade, and the colorful array also started to fade. Manjurin's eyes filled with horror. For the first time, he felt fear. He couldn't do anything. Under the powerful arrow intent, he could only watch helplessly. Stop. After you shoot this arrow, I'll definitely be fine. But everything related to you will turn to dust. Manjurin shouted frantically. He hoped that Ningqing would believe his words. Although Ningqing couldn't kill him after shooting this arrow, he didn't want to lose even a few mysterious yellow starlands in exchange for his losses. Ningqing couldn't stop. The first time he brought out the five-colored star splitter arrow, the slow absorption of celestial essence and the slow release of the arrow. This time, Ningqing's celestial essence and spiritual consciousness crazily poured into it. He feared that the five-colored star splitter arrow's killing intent couldn't completely lock onto Manjurin. Therefore, he wanted to shoot the five-colored star splitter arrow in the shortest time possible. His blood essence burned frantically once more, and his lifespan piled up and burned as well. There was only one goal in his mind, and that was to quickly shoot the arrow. He couldn't let Manjurin break free from the star splitter arrow's killing intent, nor could he let Mingyuan and the others come in to help. The gray color of the five-colored star splitter arrow filled this space. Manjurin didn't continue to ask Ningqing to stop. He could see that even Ningqing couldn't stop. His eyes flashed with a trace of hatred. If he did not kill Ningqing, he would not rest. If he knew that Ningqing didn't use a laws of time-related spirit technique, if he knew that Ningqing had brought out a five-colored star splitter arrow, he regretted letting Ningqing shoot the arrow. He regretted wanting to see what Ningqing's laws of time-related spirit technique looked like. There were many what-ifs in the universe, but he didn't have such a powerful spirit technique to display. At this moment, an image of a powerful spirit technique appeared in his mind. Unfortunately, it was only something he could look up to. It was also a laws of time-related spirit technique, not the low-level laws of time-related spirit technique that this ant in front of him used to cast the time wheel. Instead, it was a powerful laws of time-related spirit technique. Although Shen Mingyan stood behind Ningqing and couldn't feel the endless killing intent eroding her, the terrifying killing intent still made her face pale and her body tremble. She didn't know what to do. She had never seen such a terrifying killing intent before. She felt sure that if she stood in front of Ningqing and faced this arrow, she wouldn't even need to shoot it. In that case, there was no need for the arrow to be fired. She would have collapsed by herself first. Seeing Manjurin's eyes filled with horror, Shen Mingyan's heart calmed down a bit. She let out a sigh of relief and turned her gaze to Ningqing. But then, her expression changed drastically once again. Ning Cheng's body trembled, his face turned gray, and even his hair slowly turned gray. Blood continued to flow from the corners of his mouth, and the bones in his body creaked. It felt as if he would collapse to the ground at any time. Shen Mengyan was also a heaven-seated powerhouse, so she naturally understood what was going on. Ning Qing not only burned his celestial essence and spiritual consciousness from his sea of consciousness, but he also burned his longevity. What kind of arrow was this? Why was it so terrifying? Whoosh! The five-colored star-splitter arrow in Ning Cheng's hand finally shot out, and the killing intent that had been condensing around him for a long time burst out at this moment. Spatial cracks appeared out of thin air, and the gray-colored death aura condensed into a single point. At the same time, the boundless killing intent rushed out. Poof! Ning Cheng spat out another mouthful of blood, and his entire body fell to the ground. He couldn't even utter a single word. The first time he brought out the five-colored star-splitter arrow, he hadn't fully recovered. This time, he brought out the five-colored star-splitter arrow again. Moreover, it was done in such a hurry that it ended up injuring his foundation. Although he had the mysterious yellow origin, this injury couldn't be healed in a day or two. Boom! Manjurin's layers of overlapping space turned into nothingness under this killing intent. His domain also felt like a piece of paper without any resistance. Manjurin was stronger than the red-haired man, but not by much. Since the red-haired man couldn't avoid Ning Cheng's arrow, he couldn't avoid it either. The five-colored star-splitter arrow tore through the gray-colored killing intent and directly slammed into Manjurin's chest. At this moment, Manjurin's body suddenly trembled, and it seemed as if he had transformed into another body. Bang! Manjurin's body made a loud noise, and a scream rang out as Manjurin's body exploded into nothingness. Shen Mengyan looked at Manjurin, who had turned into nothingness, in shock. She saw another Manjurin sitting next to him. This Manjurin looked exactly the same as the Manjurin who had turned into nothingness by the five-colored star-splitter arrow. Blood still dripped from the corners of his mouth, celestial essence in chaos, and his aura unstable. Essence spirit substitute. Shen Mengyan screamed out in shock. She came from Yu Clan's corner and had an extraordinary master. She had naturally heard about essence spirit substitutes. Essence spirit substitutes were supreme treasures, and it was equivalent to giving people an extra life. As long as you had an essence soul substitute, even if you were about to be killed and you had no ability to resist, the essence soul substitute would replace you at the moment of your death, saving you from death. Manjurin couldn't escape just now, but he managed to escape unscathed. Apparently he had lost his essence spirit substitute, which saved him from death. Manjurin reached out and wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth. Looking at the horrified Shen Mengyan, he slowly climbed up. If he had to face Ning Cheng, he wouldn't hesitate to bring out an escape talisman to escape. Moreover, he didn't even have 1% of his strength left. Moreover, he had used his essence spirit substitute, which meant that he had consumed a lot of his strength. If he wanted to restore his strength, he would need time to heal. However, Shen Mengyan was just a heaven-seated cultivator, so he didn't put her in his eyes at all. This ant had destroyed his essence spirit substitute. If he didn't teach this ant's Tao companion a lesson, then he wouldn't be Manjurin, the famous ninth prince. He had always been the one to teach others a lesson. When did it become someone else's turn to teach him a lesson? Shen Mengyan quickly sobered up. This ninth prince didn't have the absolute strength to stop her. She quickly rushed forward, picked up Ning Cheng, turned around, and flew out. Manjurin, on seeing Shen Mengyan daring to escape, sneered and raised his hand to throw out a red light. In this place, even if he didn't chase after her, Shen Mengyan wouldn't be able to escape from the mysterious yellow starland. After Shen Mengyan rushed out of Shui clan's lair, all she saw was a crisscrossing ravine. Where were the streets of Moi City? Ning Cheng had told her to throw out the array flags after reaching the streets of Moi City. But now that there were no streets, what should she do? Chuan Xinlo, Qiao Jirwei, Zhang Kenkenji, Yi Jiufeng, and the others had all disappeared. Even the eyeless Yi Mingyuan and the thin, bamboo-like man weren't here. Only the enchanting woman and the masked man were still sitting on the edge of a huge crack. The enchanting woman had suffered serious injuries and couldn't move at all. But when the masked man saw Shen Mengyan coming out with Ning Qing in her arms, he immediately roared, "Put him down!" Shen Mengyan didn't even bother to pay attention to the masked man. She raised her hand and shot out several red lights. This was her most powerful means, something her master had left for her after she advanced to the heaven-seated realm. The masked man had already suffered serious injuries from Yijiufeng. But now, under his anger, he could barely bring out a round shield to block in front of him. The red lights slammed into the round shield with a sharp whistle, causing the masked man to spit out another mouthful of blood. But the red lights still managed to pierce through his thigh, spilling another mouthful of blood. At this time, Manjurin also came out. Shen Mengyan didn't have much time to think and threw out all the array flags in her hand. As soon as she threw out the array flags, they formed a series of spatial fluctuations. In just a few breaths, these spatial fluctuations gathered and formed a huge vortex. This vortex rolled up Shen Mengyan and disappeared from this place in an instant. The masked man and Manjurin stared at Shen Mengyan's disappearing figure in a daze. They couldn't believe it. After a while, Manjurin spoke up in shock, setting up a hidden temporary one-way teleportation array. This person is simply a genius. He said that Ning Qing was a genius, but not only because Ning Qing could arrange this array formation, but also because of two other points. First, Ning Qing could think of setting up a one-way teleportation array after entering Moi City. Second, even after Moi City was destroyed, this one-way teleportation array could still be used. Apparently, when setting up this teleportation array, the other party had already thought of hiding the teleportation array flags through space. In fact, Manjurin didn't fully understand the power of Ning Qing's array formation. Ning Qing's array formation didn't have a high grade, but the array flags he arranged could resonate with each other. Even if it blasted away from its original position, it could be restored to its original position in the shortest time through other array flags. He can't escape. This array formation is just a short-distance teleportation array. Manjurin quickly understood the shortcomings of Ning Qing's teleportation array and spoke up with a fierce tone. He would first seal off the mysterious yellow starland, and then slowly deal with Ning Qing after his injuries healed. Chapter 808. Shen Mengyan landed on the edge of a forest full of withered trees. She cautiously scanned the surroundings with her spiritual consciousness. After a while, she was sure that no one was around. Shen Mengyan's attainments in the Tao of arrays were average, but she also knew that the few array flags Ning Qing had asked her to throw out were teleportation array flags. She sighed in her heart and admired her daughter Yuqing's vision even more. In just a short time after entering Moi City, Ning Qing had already found a way out. Ning Qing not only had great strength, but he also had extraordinary vision. If only Qing was still here. Shen Mengyan looked down at Ning Qing, whose hair had turned gray and looked much older than her, and sighed softly. She guessed that this place was still in the mysterious yellow starland. Although she had escaped the range of that ninth prince's spiritual consciousness, she had to keep going. Taking out the map jade strip Ning Qing gave her, Shen Mengyan's hand trembled slightly. The words Thousand Mound Forest were written on the jade strip, along with the direction and location. Wasn't the Thousand Mound Forest the place she told Ning Qing to go? Since Ning Qing wanted her to enter the Thousand Mound Forest, it must have been for her sake. Shen Mengyan felt grateful towards Ning Qing and quickly rushed into the Thousand Mound Forest with Ning Qing in her arms. A few days later, Shen Mengyan stopped. The location marked on the jade strip's map stopped here. She didn't know what to do next, but Ning Qing in her arms still hadn't woken up. Thump! A terrifying sound emerged, and Shen Mengyan opened her mouth and spat out a mouthful of blood. This thumping sound almost turned her 5 viscera and 6 bowels upside down. Even her sea of consciousness was tumbling endlessly. What kind of sound was this? Why was it so terrifying? Shen Mengyan quickly retreated. If this terrifying sound came out a few more times, even without the ninth prince's pursuit, she would die here. Aunt Yen, many thanks to you. Ning Qing opened his eyes. He was also awakened by the same thumping sound. Shen Mengyan, who was still in a panic, saw Ning Qing waking up and immediately spoke up with joy. "You're awake. We're all family. What's there to thank?" These were Shen Mengyan's subconscious words. Since learning about the relationship between Ning Qing and Yu Qing, she really didn't treat Ning Qing as an outsider. Ning Qing sighed. Although he and Yu Qing truly had nothing to do with each other, he didn't refute Shen Mengyan's words. Instead, he took out a few medicinal pills and swallowed them. After taking a few pills, Ning Cheng's qi and blood quickly converged together, and his body's recovery also accelerated. Another thump sound emerged, causing Shen Mengyan's heart to churn once again. Fortunately, she was a little further away from that thump and didn't spit out blood. "Ning Cheng, we have to leave this place quickly. This sound is too terrifying." Shen Mengyan brought out a defensive weapon and spoke to Ning Cheng. This voice seemed to contain a kind of Tao charm, which even her celestial essence couldn't suppress. Ning Cheng took in a deep breath and spoke, "Aunt Yen, we can't leave. Although the sound was terrifying in this place, we could still keep our lives. Once we leave the altar of forefathers' library, we will definitely die. With Manjuran's character, it would be strange if he would let us go after I crippled his substitute." Ning Cheng still retained some consciousness when he fell. He knew that because of Manjuran's essence spirit substitute, his five-colored star splitter arrow couldn't kill the other party. Leaving the altar of forefathers' library at this time would truly be courting death. After saying this, Ning Cheng swallowed a few more medicinal pills and barely brought out the everlasting blue thunder fort before saying, "Aunt Yen, don't retreat. Let's go in. Only by going in will we have a chance to survive." Thump sound emerged again, and it hit Ning Cheng's everlasting blue thunder fort. Only then did Shen Mengyan discover that she wasn't affected at all. She didn't continue to retreat and rush towards the altar of forefathers' library with Ning Cheng in her arms. She had seen Ning Cheng's strength with her own eyes, and she believed that Ning Cheng had made the right choice to come in. Shortly after Shen Mengyan and Ning Cheng entered the direction of the altar of forefathers' library, a figure appeared where Shen Mengyan had previously stood. However, this figure looked in the direction of the altar of forefathers' library and didn't follow them. Instead, he chose to leave. 2 hours later, Shen Mengyan stopped outside a collapsed canyon. This canyon was in a mess, with collapsed buildings everywhere. "Aunt Yen, let's stop here. I will release the restrictions around the everlasting blue thunder fort. You can integrate a trace of your spiritual consciousness into my everlasting blue thunder fort and help me control the blue thunder fort. I want to heal." Ning Cheng didn't wait for Shen Mengyan to answer and immediately separated the control of the everlasting blue thunder fort. Shen Mengyan immediately felt the vastness of the everlasting blue thunder fort and the endless lightning arcs within it. Fortunately, the everlasting blue thunder fort was Ning Cheng's weapon. So, with her helping Ning Cheng to support it, it didn't put much pressure on her. After Ning Cheng transferred part of the control of the everlasting blue thunder fort to Shen Mengyan, he turned completely silent. He almost shielded his six senses and focused on healing himself. When Shen Mengyan saw this, she quickly brought out an abode-type weapon and put Ning Cheng into the abode-type weapon. She then sat down beside Ning Cheng and controlled the everlasting blue thunder fort while waiting for Ning Cheng to heal himself. Time passed slowly, and after a few days, Shen Mengyan started to feel the strain. She couldn't hold on for much longer. But seeing that Ning Cheng showed no signs of getting up, she could only continue to hold on. Another 2 days passed, and Shen Mengyan started to feel that her spiritual consciousness wasn't strong enough. Controlling the blue thunder fort became even more difficult. Feeling the everlasting blue thunder fort shrinking with every thump, Shen Mengyan started to feel more and more worried. She took out some permanent essence pills and started to absorb the pure starry sky essence spirit chi from the permanent essence pills while hoping that Ning Cheng would wake up soon. The starry sky essence spirit chi from the permanent essence pills quickly helped Shen Mengyan fall into a state of cultivation. The moment she fell into this state of cultivation, she sensed a powerful aura. This aura immediately dissolved some of the remaining pill toxins and impurities in her body. At the same time, It also purified her sea of consciousness and meridians. Not only did she absorb the permanent essence pills at a faster rate, but she also gained a deeper understanding of spirit techniques and Tao laws. Shen Mengyan subconsciously moved closer to Ning Cheng. The closer she got to Ning Cheng, the more powerful this aura became. Shen Mengyan, who was immersed in cultivation, vaguely sensed that the aura affecting her cultivation was an origin aura. She didn't force herself to wake up. This was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. What Shen Mengyan absorbed was indeed an origin. It was the mysterious yellow origin that Ning Cheng absorbed during his cultivation and healing. Generally, when Ning Cheng cultivated, no one would stay by his side. But this time, Shen Mengyan staying by his side was a complete accident. Under Ning Cheng's mysterious yellow formless, the mysterious yellow origin continued to circulate through her entire body. Shen Mengyan leaned against Ning Cheng's side while absorbing the mysterious yellow origin aura to cleanse her body. During the circulation of the mysterious yellow origin, no impurities were allowed. Shen Mengyan's cultivation method was far worse than Ning Cheng's. Even if she cultivated to the heaven-seated realm, her body still contained some impurities. Under the circulation of the mysterious yellow origin aura, these impurities would slowly seep out. After Shen Mengyan fell into cultivation, the everlasting blue thunder fort stabilized. While cultivating, Shen Mengyan could not only use the everlasting blue thunder fort to protect her and Ning Cheng, but also continue to cultivate. Another month passed by in a flash, and Shen Mengyan, who was in the middle of cultivation, suddenly woke up. She felt blocked by a cultivation barrier. She didn't continue cultivating but looked at her body in shock. Her entire body was covered with a layer of filth and exuded a strange smell. Seeing this situation, Shen Mengyan almost screamed out. After she reached the heaven-seated realm, one could say that the impurities in her body had decreased to almost nothing. But she never expected that so many impurities would seep out today. Even when she was next to Ning Cheng, she still felt ashamed. However, when her spiritual consciousness fell onto Ning Cheng's body, she finally felt relieved. Ning Cheng was still unconscious, apparently in the deepest level of seclusion to heal himself. Shen Mengyan breathed in relief and quickly stood up. She then activated a few isolation restrictions before taking off all her clothes. After casting a few dirt removal techniques on her body, she quickly removed the impurities and changed into a set of underwear. Just as Shen Mengyan changed into her underwear, she didn't even have time to put on her coat when she felt a loud bang. The everlasting blue thunder fort outside exploded. At the same time, a spiritual consciousness passed through and fell on her body. Shen Mengyan screamed. She hadn't even put on her clothes when such a thing happened. With the everlasting blue thunder fort blasted open, Ning Cheng also woke up. Although Shen Mengyan controlled the everlasting blue thunder fort, it was connected to his mind. Therefore, when someone blasted open his defensive weapon, how could he not wake up? Boom! The next moment, Shen Mengyan's abode-type weapon exploded, and the horrified Shen Mengyan quickly hid behind Ning Cheng. This instinctive avoidance made her forget that others had spiritual consciousness. A fiery gaze fell on her and Ning Cheng. The masked man was staring at Shen Mengyan, who only wore underwear. "You two adulterers, I've disturbed your pleasure." The masked man gave a cold snort, and murderous aura erupted from his body. His domain even stirred up the surrounding space. "Beast, what does our healing have to do with you? A beast like you killed so many people, you deserve to die." Shen Mengyan recovered and cursed with hatred. She had a clear conscience, so she naturally wouldn't have any psychological shadows. She quickly took out her coat and was about to put it on when another thud sounded. A trace of blood overflowed from the corner of her mouth, and the coat in her hand fell to the ground. Ning Cheng sneered in his heart. A mere late-stage eternal cultivator dared to disturb his healing? Even if he hadn't fully recovered from his injuries, a late-stage eternal cultivator wouldn't dare to disturb him. Ning Cheng was just about to bring out the celestial rainbow purgatory spear when his expression changed slightly. The next moment, he put away the celestial rainbow purgatory spear, grabbed Shen Mengyan, and quickly rushed into the dilapidated canyon entrance. The masked man bit his lips until a trace of blood came out. He looked in the direction Ning Cheng disappeared but didn't continue to chase. After a few breaths, 2 more figures landed beside him. One of them was the eyeless Yi Mingyuan, and the other was a man in green robes. Yi Mingyuan looked in the direction Ning Cheng disappeared and spoke with a slightly hoarse voice. This person is quite powerful. He could even escape from the 9th prince. The green-robed man just stared in the direction Ning Cheng disappeared and didn't speak. He didn't know what method Ning Cheng used to seriously injure the 9th prince. But since Ning Cheng could kill Hong Lun, it was normal for him to injure the 9th prince. Chapter 809. Thump thump, the everlasting blue thunder fort blocked all the sounds. Even if Ning Cheng hadn't fully recovered from his injuries, his current cultivation wasn't something the heaven-seated realm could compare to. Ning Cheng walked in several directions but didn't encounter any spatial devouring formation. He knew that to enter the Blood Lake, he had to find the location of the spatial devouring formation. After another incense stick worth of time, a burst of spatial collapse appeared behind Ning Cheng. Shen Mingyan's face turned pale. She had never seen such a powerful spatial collapse. It's here. Ning Cheng sped up and rushed forward. He now understood that this place should be a huge spatial collapse formation. Entering this place, one had to face certain dangers. If one was unlucky, one might even end up swallowed by this spatial collapse formation. Ning Cheng kept going down. When the space behind him collapsed and disappeared, Ning Cheng finally stopped. Only when everything around him disappeared did Ning Cheng stop. What is this place? Shen Mengyan asked in shock after Ning Cheng put her down. Everything in front of her was dark red, and there seemed to be a fishy smell everywhere. But she soon found that she didn't seem to have put on a coat and quickly took out a dress and put it on. Seeing that Ning Cheng's attention wasn't on her, Shen Mengyan breathed in a sigh of relief. She took a few steps forward and asked, Ning Cheng, do you know where this place is? Did you come here on purpose? Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness carefully observed the surroundings. He understood that this place was man-made. As long as one came to this place, it meant that there would be danger everywhere. Ning Cheng nodded. Yes, I know where this place is. Back then, I owed a favor to a person who saved my life when he was trapped here. When he saved me, I promised that I would come and save him. Now that the 9th prince has taken over the mysterious Yellow Starland, I worry that one day the 9th prince will refine this place completely. At that time, I won't even have a chance to repay his kindness. Shen Mengyan felt surprised. Ning Cheng had come to this place? Ning Cheng quickly walked forward and soon stopped again. Shen Mengyan opened her mouth wide and looked at the scene in front of her in shock. She saw a blood lake with a huge heart in it. Not to mention that she had never seen such a big heart before, Shen Mengyan didn't even think that such a big heart existed. His heart was beating non-stop, and every time it beat, it would make a loud, dong sound. Shen Mengyan finally understood where that soul-piercing thump sound came from. She never thought that a heart could contain such a powerful force. If not for Ning Cheng having this blue thunder fort, she would not have been able to stand up straight. This blood lake, this heart? Shen Mengyan muttered to herself. She could see that this heart came from a human body. What kind of giant would have such a huge heart? Aunt Yen, you stay here. The everlasting Blue Thunder City will protect you. I'll go save them. Ning Cheng stared at the blood lake while speaking to Shen Mengyan. Save who? There's no one here. Shen Mengyan spoke up in doubt. Ning Cheng looked at the blood lake in front of him and spoke in a dignified manner. This blood lake is very terrifying. There are endless insects inside. Our breaths will be transmitted into the blood lake. After a while, the worms in the blood lake will definitely come out. While talking to Shen Mengyan, Ning Cheng's eyes kept staring at the blood lake. The heart in the blood lake wasn't that big. However, this heart contained countless dark red insects. These insects could explode the heart and swarm out. He even doubted that the heart would still beat even if he killed all the bugs. Shen Mengyan subconsciously shuddered when she heard Ning Cheng's words. When Ning Cheng spoke about the endless insects, She immediately recalled the scene of those terrifying black insects surrounding her when she first entered the mysterious yellow starland. The blood lake seemed to have been startled by the conversation between him and Shen Mengyan. Blood bubbles started bubbling up, followed by a dense, chak sound. Shen Mengyan looked at the endless red insects crawling out of the blood lake, and her scalp felt like it was going to explode. These bean-sized dark red insects, covered in mucus, piled up one by one and crawled out of the blood lake. As if they had smelled her and Ning Cheng's auras, they all swarmed towards them. At the same time, a terrifying pressure came from the space around them, and Shen Mengyan felt the pressure of controlling the everlasting blue thunder fort increase. Aunt Yen, try to control the everlasting blue thunder fort. I'll go save them. Ning Cheng brought out the celestial rainbow purgatory spear. If he were still in the heaven-seated realm, Ning Cheng would have been suppressed. But Ning Cheng's current cultivation was much stronger than when he was in the heaven-seated realm. Even if he hadn't fully recovered his strength, he still wasn't someone in the heaven-seated realm could compare to. As the endless insects rushed towards Ning Cheng raised his hand and brought out a time wheel. These insects weren't just disgusting, they were also extremely hard. However, Ning Cheng believed that no matter how hard these insects were, they couldn't withstand a law of time-related spirit technique like the light wheel. The gray time wheel swept out and crushed the piles of dark red insects into nothingness. Ning Cheng finally breathed in a sigh of relief. He wasn't afraid of these insects, but he was afraid that he couldn't kill these insects. As long as the time wheel could kill these insects, he didn't have to worry about them. No matter how many insects there were, no matter how powerful they were meaningless in front of the time wheel that could sweep everything. As the insects continued to pile up and rush towards Ning Cheng kept shooting out array flags while bringing out the time wheel from time to time. He knew that these insects, driven by the altar of Forefathers' library, would form a huge blood-sucking grand array. This blood-sucking grand array could even suck out all the essence blood in his body. Ning Cheng worried that he couldn't resist it, so he arranged the array formation first. As long as he killed these insects, once the black altar of Forefathers' library came out, he would have one less threat. Ning Cheng's time wheel swept away the waves of dark red insects, but they still continued to rush towards Ning Cheng's time wheel. Ning Cheng could clearly see the water level in the blood lake drop a little, and he understood that it should be caused by his time wheel killing many insects. Perhaps because of Ning Cheng's terrifying strength, the insects in the blood lake burst out with bursts of woo screeches. At the same time, the huge heart exploded again, and a mountain of insects swarmed out. Ning Cheng couldn't wait for more and more insects to appear. Therefore, he kept shooting out the time wheel. These insects couldn't even last half a breath in front of the time wheel. At this moment, a loud rumbling sound emerged, and Ning Cheng took in a deep breath. He knew that the altar of Forefathers' library was about to come out. Sure enough, after this rumbling sound, a huge black altar appeared on the opposite side of the blood lake, with the words Forefathers' library engraved on the altar. A whimpering sound came from the altar, and the insects stopped rushing towards Ning Cheng after hearing the whimpering sound. Instead, they began to line up in a certain pattern. In a short time, a blood-sucking grand array formed by these insects was arranged. Ning Cheng was very clear that each of the insects here represented an array flag. Ta-walala! At the same time that the black altar of Forefathers' library appeared, the giant dragging the heavy iron chain also appeared. Ning Cheng naturally understood that once the altar of Forefathers' library appeared, the giant would have to appear. The purpose of the giant's appearance was to provide essence blood to the altar of Forefathers' library. Ning Cheng didn't want the giant's essence blood to be absorbed by the blood lake. He raised his hand and shot out a time wheel towards the blood-sucking grand array formed by the insects. In Ning Cheng's view, as long as he blew up the blood-sucking grand array, the giant's essence blood would not be absorbed by the blood lake. Maybe this altar of Forefathers' library would also be useless. Shen Mengyan, who stood behind Ning Cheng, stared at the 10-feet-tall giant in a daze. She really couldn't hold back her tears. She had suffered this kind of pain, so she knew the suffering of giants. Back then, she had also been locked in a water prison, and it was Ning Cheng who had rescued her. This giant was even more miserable than her. There was a huge hole in his chest, one of his eyes was blind, and the other had been dug out. Even his arm was left with only one. Whether it was his chest that had been dug out or his eye that had been dug out, black blood kept flowing down. The giant arched his body and tried to grab the heart in the blood lake, but both his feet and one of his hands were locked by a thick iron chain. His hand could only reach the surface of the blood lake, and he could no longer extend it even a little bit. I sacrifice my blood, give me back my heart. I sacrifice my blood, give me back my eye. The giant's mournful voice made Shen Mengyan feel even more sad. Who was so vicious? Who was so inhumane to torture a person like this? It would be better to just kill that person directly. Ning Cheng's time wheel slammed into the blood-sucking grand array formed by the insects and splashed out a dark red Dao charm light. However, the time wheel unexpectedly blocked it and could no longer kill the insects. Ning Cheng felt shocked. If he couldn't kill these insects, how could he break the array? As the dark red insect's blood-sucking grand array completed, the whimpering sound of the altar of forefathers' library grew even more shrill. The giant became more and more restless. He shouted as he tried to grab his heart. As the whimpering sound of the altar grew more and more intense, the giant's blood finally turned into a blood bridge and fell into the lake. But this time, because of Ning Cheng's interference, the blood bridge wasn't as fierce as the last time. Ning Cheng endured the powerful blood-sucking force and shot out a dozen time wheels. He didn't believe that he couldn't destroy this blood-sucking grand array. The giant, who wanted to grab his heart, finally felt Ning Cheng next to him. He stopped his actions and turned his head to Ning Cheng. Are you the person I saved last time? Why are you here again? The celestial rainbow purgatory spear in Ning Cheng's hand turned into a spear intent and broke through the space between him and the blood-sucking grand array. Then, with the help of the time wheels, he shot out with all his might. However, he replied, because I promised you that as long as I'm alive, I will come back to help you. The giant stood there in a daze. He had helped countless people in his life and was deceived by countless people. Except for the dead no one had ever come to help him. Not to mention keeping his promise and returning to this place again. He clearly had no eyes, but 2 lines of tears flowed down his cheeks as he murmured, you were right. There are always good people in this world. He shed tears of excitement, not because Ning Cheng came to save him, but because she didn't lie to him. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.